I'm still getting just a little bit set up here. You guys just got a flash over of my gigantic mess that was my shelf. The sewing room is indeed a train wreck currently, but that's okay. I just prepped this bag over doing the Dill Handmade As You Wish project bag. And I just finished prepping this whole thing over on a different live video. So now we're gonna sew it up. I am using my industrial machine today, and I'll show you the box. I want to finish getting this all set up here. Let me see if I can get y'all a little bit better of an angle here. Sorry for the setup movement. Okay, I think that's a pretty good, hopefully that's a pretty good vantage point for you guys to be able to see what I am doing. So I've got my directions here, my PDF pattern. I have never sewn this bag before, full disclosure, and I am just kind of sewing as I go. So if you were just on the last live video, I literally just hopped off of one live video and hopped here onto my own channel. The other broadcast should be here shortly whenever that gets published, but I was basically just prepping this whole bag. So the artwork and all that good stuff is from the, let me grab this real quick, the As You Wish project box from Sew Girlie Fun. Where did I put the box? Oh, I just had the box in here somewhere. There it is. And so this box came with cotton canvas in it, all of the hardware that I needed, all the webbing, even the sewing thread I'm using, everything came in this super cute little box. You guys are zoomed in a little close here, but this is the project box. This is the pattern that we're working on that came in the box, and just some like media, and obviously I dismantled everything else in the box, but this will kind of show you a little bit more about the materials, who's in the box here, who kind of did all the sponsorships, and some more of the info about different creators that were involved in the box. So I'm sewing mine up. I chose to make a couple of substitutions just because I wanted to, they give you extra material in this box, which I love. And so I opted, instead of using this as my main body, I'm using it as my main body and my liner. So that's what I chose to do. So how's everybody on this fine Wednesday? I am doing pretty good myself. Trucking along, getting my kitchen renovation underway. I'm waiting on things. Excuse my squeaky chair here real quick. Get myself up there. Okay, I'm going to swap out my foot. I'm using the Teflon foot right now, but I want where is that? I literally just saw it. How strange. I might have put all my materials on top of it. I want my narrow zipper foot. That's what I am looking for. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Now I need a screwdriver. Goodness gracious. I have this very ridiculous long one that's more for interior things, but it'll do. That'll do, pig. So, it is almost Halloween, and literally by now, normally I would have bought like 4 bags of candy. I'm big on planning ahead, and so of course, I'm like, let me buy this candy while I'm at the grocery store. But this month has been so busy and so crazy, and I haven't even been to the grocery store in like 2 weeks. And we've just been eating stuff out of the freezer, or like I pre-prepped stuff knowing things were going to be crazy busy. By the way, I'm going to run you through real quick. This is the gusset of the outside of the bag. And we've got some 1-inch webbing that was provided. I substituted this material. It's a glitter canvas material is what I'm using. And you're going to go ahead and take your webbing and stitch as close to the edge as possible, securing on your rectangle ring connector. So that's what I am doing right now. That's the step I'm on. So anyway, it's almost Halloween, and yeah, I haven't bought any Halloween candy, which I can't even believe. Normally I am like so ridiculous about the Halloween candy. But I have not bought any yet. In a way, I'm kind of proud of myself, but that really, something. I just threaded this machine and it is not happy for some reason. It's not picking up the thread. So let's see if we can figure out what's happening. I wound a new bobbin. Sometimes if I overfill the bobbin, it gets weird. Which is weird because I was already sewing on the last live video, but whatever. We'll see if that makes it happy now. Okay, anyway, almost Halloween, haven't bought any candy. What I am trying to say is that speaks to how crazy busy I've been. I don't know if it's a super busy October for you guys, but it's crazy busy over here. There we go. Much happier. Okay. So at some point I do gotta get myself together. Oops. Needs a little hump jumper right there. I gotta get myself over to the store so I can make sure I'm prepared for Halloween. Our neighborhood gets crazy busy, like so nuts on Halloween. Let's see here. Try to come off the side of this D-ring, or rectangle ring, I mean, a little gingerly. So you can secure this any way that you would like. You could use a decorative stitch here. You could do multiple rows back and forth. I think I'm essentially just gonna do a long rectangle up the middle on this. I think that's gonna give me the look I'm going for. And in her pattern, she calls for the use of foam or fusible fleece or whatever you would like. I think I'm gonna try some foam on this. Now again, I haven't made this bag before. This is a new to me pattern. So we'll see how I like it with foam. We'll see how I feel about that. I'm using, a combination of this glitter canvas, and this was the middle of my roll. So like these pieces are pretty flat, you can see, but this piece has some wrinklage to it, but it's just a gusset piece. I think once it straightens out and we get it around our curve, yeah, I don't think we're going to notice it too much. So I am going to grab some sticky backed foam that I want to try on this. And we'll see how I like that. I think that'll be good. I'm going to leave you guys here at the machine for a moment while I run over to the mat and apply this foam interfacing to this gusset piece. Oh, goodness gracious. So how are you guys doing? Are you on track for your normal Halloween shenanigans? Because Halloween is soon. I cannot believe how soon it is. this year has both been the longest and the shortest year for me. It's been a little crazy in good ways and bad ways, but I'm just happy I made it through 2023, y'all. That's pretty much where I'm at with it at this point. I do not have a pen handy. I'll just cut this with my scissors. I don't know my original intent on this bag. I thought I might quilt it, and I still might, so I might do some quilting on some of the body pockets. I love, typically what I don't do though is cut the pieces first, but I love quilting glitter canvas. I've done it on a few bags. Let me see if I can grab one of my bags I did it on. You guys should still be able to hear me while I walk away. Let me grab this bag and I will show you. There it is. Okay, I thought I had this handy. So this is the exact same glitter canvas I'm using, just in a different color. I'm gonna show this to you guys. This is what I normally do with glitter canvas. I love glitter canvas for making bags. I'm gonna put that right there so you can see it. This is a zippy clutch that I made. The wristlet is made out of glitter canvas, and the bag is made out of glitter canvas with a little bit of cotton woven, and this has foam in it. I absolutely adore glitter canvas. If you've never worked with it, it's a dream to sew up. It's incredibly, this was made on my domestic machine, but it is domestic friendly. And it holds up really well for bags. This has been to Disney with me multiple times, and it's just lined with cotton woven and a piece of cotton woven on the outside. And I'm just going to leave you to look at that. It quilts beautifully with foam. I love, 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 love it. So normally what I do is I do not pre-cut the pieces and quilt them. I pre-cut, I cut like a big chunk. Ooh, this is some sticky foam. I pre-cut a big chunk of it, and then I quilt the chunk, because if you've ever quilted, you know things will shift. Oh my goodness gracious. This is some sticky foam. Okay. Anyway. Oh, this is so sticky. Okay, there we go. Got it down. Got it stuck on there pretty good. Hoofda. Okay, let me cut this extra off. Hopefully, oh, that's gonna make my scissors super sticky. Okay, lesson learned on that. Don't use your super good scissors for sticky foam. I'll get that off with alcohol later. Okay. Anyway, things will shift when you quilt. So when I quilt bags like this with the glitter canvas, it starts off just like this. I will cut the piece bigger, and then I cut everything out afterwards. Hey Annette, how are you? Thanks for joining. So anyway, I was kind of originally thinking I might quilt some of these body pieces like this, or maybe some diamond quilting. I do all kinds of different quilting on here, but I love the way that it looks, and with the foam it has like a really nice 3D effect. And glitter canvas is thinner than vinyl, so it has a nicer, I don't know how to explain it. It's got a really nice hand feel, and it just looks pretty. This is still one of my favorite bags, the little zippy clutch. And like I said, this one's just lined with cotton woven, and then just one piece of cotton woven here, and I actually quilted some fuzz on it, but it's a little hard to see, but I quilted around Maleficent. I like to quilt around my characters in the same color, so I just did like a black so you can feel it, but you can't really see it. So anyway, that was my original thought on this. What I am going to do now is run a stitch in the ditch right here on either side of the webbing just to bond through to my foam. This is a sticky backed foam, so like it's really stuck on there, but I do want to have like a bit of a quilted effect. And I'm using this Saya Swag red thread in lipstick red, which came in the project box, that I'm using all of this on. So I think that'll be really good looking. We're just going to kind of go right about there. And I'm literally just going to do it in the ditch all the way down. Yeah, I like the look of that. It's it almost blends in because, you know, it's the pink on red. But you get just like the tiniest pop of color with that red there. So I really like that. I think that'll look really good when we're all said and done. And I'd rather have the stitching on either side versus through the webbing, because I want the graphics on the webbing, you know, to pop. All right. So I really should just do like a whole bunch of the little prep work on a bunch of these pieces. They've all, you know, been interfaced and all that, but I have a few linings and other things I need to sew together. So I'm going to toss that aside for the moment, and I need to decide, like this pocket, for instance, I was thinking would be really pretty with some quilting on it. This is a lining piece. Put some of these aside. I might choose to substitute the zipper on here too. I'm not really sure. This is a black with red, and then they did gunmetal hardware for the project box, which I like, but I'm not sure if I really want to do a black zipper since I'm doing a lot of pink. I'm trying not to highlight. I know it's got gunmetal hardware, but I almost wonder if I don't have some like pink with gunmetal teeth or something else with gunmetal teeth I might like better with gunmetal teeth instead of the red teeth. So I might have to dig through my stash and see. I don't even know what my shop has for sale at the moment. I might have to dig into the inventory because I've got some things with gunmetal teeth that might be fun. I think I have purple with gunmetal teeth, which might be really good with this artwork. Is anybody else sewing today, or is it just me for like the first time in forever? Back pocket lining. So I'm going to try to keep all my pattern pieces straight. I suppose before I sew these together, I'll have to decide if I want it. Sometimes I will actually quilt through all the layers too. Like I might sew these together, turn them right side out, and then quilt it. I'm not sure what I want to do. Take a peek at all these other pieces and figure out, since I've never made this pattern before, I need to remember. I think it'd be cool to have my front slip pocket be quilted. Like how fun would that be? So you might have to... The one challenge with quilting on this machine, a lot of times I'll use my domestic for quilting because it's got the quilt guides on it. So that makes it really easy. I don't have a quilt guide on my industrial, so then that means I have to draw out all the lines, which I can do, but I just hate to do that sometimes. Annette says she's been fighting a cold for the last couple of days, and so she has been unmotivated. I'm sorry. I had a summer cold, which I don't know if that's better or worse than a winter cold, honestly. So I feel your pain. I hope it's a quick one. My cold this year, whatever that was, they were saying maybe RSV, maybe something else. It was not quick. It lingered forever. Yeah. So I hope you do not have that. I hope it is a speedy recovery. Get yourself some chicken soup, lady. But see, this is the perfect time to watch sewing videos, right? It'll get you motivated for when you're finally feeling better. Okay, my main body bag pieces, I don't think I'm going to do anything with those. They're just already interfaced. So, to quilt or not to quilt, that is the question. there's a lot going on with this artwork, but I don't know. The problem is I already pre-cut it, so I would have to hope that I do a really good job on it, and I don't have an issue and nothing shifts, which with quilting, that can be a little tough. I think what I am going to do, though, is do this one in foam. You don't need foam interfacing throughout this whole bag, and I already have, I'm using the Wizardry Soft and Firm interfacing on here, so like I've already got some pretty good, like you can see these are interfaced pretty nice. But I like good structure on a messenger bag, so I'm going to tuck foam in a couple of places instead of just the gusset. Yeah, you're right, Annette. This is a sticky back foam that I'm using, so it shouldn't shrink the pieces too much. A lot of times what I do is I cut the foam a lot bigger, and then I'll put the piece on there, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily shrink it, but it shifts it. On a woven, it would for sure, but this is like a rubber backed, the glitter canvases. It's got kind of a rubbery front and a canvas back with like a rubber coating. So it doesn't actually do too bad, but honestly, speaking of being unmotivated, this is the first thing I have sewn and I don't even know how long. And I'm exhausted. I'm still in the middle of my kitchen renovation. I am not finished with it. And I've got to get back to that. I'm basically taking the day off today for this specifically. And so, yeah, I am tired and I would love to have this bag finished by dinner time in about an hour and 20 minutes. So that being said, I'm gonna grab my water, which I forgot. Here it is. And yeah, I'm just gonna get to it. But I do think I'm gonna tuck foam behind here, and so it'll just be stuck back there. Oh my gosh. I just noticed I got my new Saya swag ripper not that long ago. It matches my project. I love when that happens. Love it. Okay. So I am going to, I think, tuck foam. If I'm not going to quilt it, I don't think I'm going to tuck foam on that. I think I'm going to tuck foam on 2 of these exteriors right there, and then I've got it on my gusset, and I think I will back lower pocket, zipper pocket, what are you? I don't think I'm going to put it on the front slip pocket, so we'll leave that. I'm going to put it on the body panels, and I don't love foam on a big flat, even fused foam on a big flat thing like this where there's lots of solid. I just don't love that. So I think I'm going to leave that off, and I've just got the woven interfacing on here, and we'll see how that does. And it's going to be backed with Ottertex waterproof canvas, so I think I'm going to be happy with that structure and that look. I think that'll be enough. Anything more than that I think might be an issue. Too much foam makes, in my opinion, the bags can often look cheap, if that makes any sense. Like they look bloated and too, I don't know how to explain it. They just look kind of goofy sometimes if there's too much going on. Second guessing my decision now. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm like, oh, let me second guess everything I'm doing. But no. Oh, I do really like this sticky foam. If your machine is happy with the sticky foam, I highly suggest it. But I know some machines do not want to sew through it in any way, shape, or form. They get mad. And at that point, if your machine is unhappy, I don't bother. Like, that's a no good situation. You're going to have a bad time sewing. You're going to be miserable. So it's not worth it. But if your machine doesn't mind sticky stuff, I highly recommend the sticky foam. I have really liked it so far. So much so I'm considering carrying it in my shop, but the problem is there are people who like don't realize that some machines don't like it, and I don't want people to buy it and then get upset that they, can't sew through it. It's definitely a case by case basis. Oops. So on the previous broadcast I was on today with Sew Girlie Fun and Sew Oside, we were talking about Halloween movies. But we never really made it that far in the conversation because, you know, we're gabbing and joking and talking. But I was asking them what Halloween movies they had already watched. So I'll pose the same question to y'all. I have not made it through, I haven't been sewing really at all. So I have not made it through hardly any of my, you know, movies I put on in the background. I haven't made it through any of the Charlie Brown movies. Not a single one. And I have not, but I have made it through half of Hocus Pocus. I did watch Nightmare Before Christmas the other day. So I got that. And I watched Paranorman, which is a Leica movie. If you like Coraline and other Leica movies, I think you would like Paranorman. I really enjoy that movie. I like the cast in it too. But what else? Let's see, what other movies? I have a whole list of them. Because I was on a kick for Leica movies and not necessarily Halloween, I had Kubo on the other day. Kubo and the Two Strings. Which I really enjoy that movie too. And then what else? Of course I had Coraline on, but that's kind of a year-round one for me. I love Coraline. Oh my gosh. So here's one of the things I will tell you about the sticky foam. It sticks to everything, including your metal utensils. So I'm going to have to get an alcohol wipe and clean that up afterwards, but still worth it in my opinion. But the sticky, it's sticky. Okay, so I've got my sticky foam on here, and the reason I opted to do some of this here, and I might opt to do something else on the flap, this is a turn lock. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to use the turn lock. I might just put a button magnetic closure on it after the fact. We'll have to see. Monica says, hi Monica. How you been? Okay, so main body pieces. Let me glance at these instructions. This is a pretty straightforward bag and there's not a whole lot of complicated stuff going on here. And I've chosen to cut a few things out. Just cause. So let's see. Outer zipper. The other thing I'm thinking about doing, so this project box came with canvas that I'm not using. I substituted this pink and I substituted this pink because I really love the blue canvas. In this project box, it came with this absolutely gorgeous zipper pull from New Moxie, which I really like this box a lot, but I think this is probably my favorite part of the whole box. Hopefully that's pretty clear and you guys can see the detail. This enamel pull is fabulously beautiful. You can tell I'm in the middle of a renovation because I've got blue paint in my nails. I apologize for the appearance. And my nails are very grown out and I'm missing one. I had to cut it off. These are my natural nails, but I had to cut this one off so that I could do the caulking in the kitchen. Sacrifices must be made. So anyway, yeah, this pull is absolutely beautiful and I am saving the other canvas. Oops, got sticky on my fingernail from the foam. I'm saving the other canvas that came in the box. I substituted this from my stash because I want to make a Rickroll backpack with it. So I'm thinking I might save this zipper for the Rickroll backpack too, so I can have a Princess Bride themed one. Because I adore that zipper pull. I think it's so cute, and this bag already has a lot going on with the artwork, which I love the artwork, and I love the colors, but I just don't personally love like crazy busy bags. I like to have one element that kind of shines, so I'll probably just cut the zipper out of this altogether. It's a little messenger style bag, and I think it would be perfect to have the flap over on it, and then we'll do an interior zipper pocket is what I think I'm going to do, and it's got two exterior back pockets, so I'm going to take a quick peek here, just glance through these instructions and see. And then for the magnetic, let's see, she's got a turn lock on here, but I don't know if I really want to do a turn lock on it, to be honest. I think I might just do a rivet through button magnetic snap. We'll see how I feel. I'm going to prep the rest of the, prep the rest of the pockets. While I am doing that though, I think I did decide I do want a zipper pocket on the back, and I might just omit it from the inside. This bag is not particularly huge. I mean, this is the main body. You guys are zoomed in pretty well, but like I have pretty sizable hands. There's not a ton of room on here. So I think with a back zipper pocket, and then it's got a front slip pocket, and then the interior body, like that's 3 total pockets. I just don't like to get super convoluted with my bags anymore. I'm going to go scope and see real quick what kind of zipper tape I've got. I've got my whole stash up here, which I've got shortcuts of, so much zipper tape. Oops. Move my little gizmo out of the way there. He was there for the live video earlier. So I'm looking for teeth with gunmetal. Yeah, see, wouldn't this be good? I have a stash buster piece back here, and this is a scrap. That couldn't be more perfect. Pink and purple. I dig it. Okay, let's do that then. And then it came with this little gunmetal zipper in the project box. So that being said, I have to grab scrap to make our zipper tabs. That's like the one thing I didn't prep out because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I was gonna bother. I think I will just, excuse me, I had to sneeze. I might have another one there too. Oy. I think I'm gonna use scrap glitter canvas here for my zipper tabs because I like the way that looks. I think that'll be good. And then try to find some different scissors here too, since I gunked up my other scissors. It is a beautiful, like 75-degree day here, raining off and on. It's finally cooled down. It was in the 90s again last week, which was like, ugh, way, way, way too much. All right, we're gonna scroll back up here. Check out. I also have like my own kind of way of doing stuff at this point. Y'all know how that goes. Okay. So I'm looking at these directions like, oh, I'll just do it my own way, but I've never made this bag before and I need to not deviate too far off the beaten path. Because if I do that, it's going to get real screwy since I haven't made it before. Okay, so she's having us do these 1.5 inches long. 1.5 inches long on these by, I need to grab a ruler. course, now that it's rainy, I have the runniest nose in the world too. That's the problem when it doesn't rain for so long here. It stirs up so much stuff. Okay, let me see. 1, just like this little ruler. Okay, 1.5, there we go. Haven't sewn anything since I traveled. So half my stuff is like still in my travel kit. Half the other stuff I don't even know where it is. Ay. All right. So this should be good. We're gonna cut the excess off, and it looks like she just has us doing one. You guys, if you're following along, you'd have the pattern for this anyway, but it looks like she wanted a 10-inch cut of zipper tape. It's a good use of my scrap. I love to use scrap. Makes me happy. It's like free money is what it feels like. I know that's not really true, but that's what it feels like. Okay. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to put my zipper on, and y'all didn't even remind me. I'd have been so sad. It's been a long time since I made that mistake. Be honest, when was the last time you made that mistake? I actually, in the very beginning of my bag making journey, I used to do that all the time. So much so that I wouldn't even use zipper by the yard because I forgot like near constant. Like the first, I don't know, many bags I made years and years and years ago. So I would just use like YKK zippers. I had a ton of them anyways because I kind of came over from quilting, quilt shop stuff, and then I was using those in embroidery for the longest time. So yeah, I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just use these. And I still do that sometimes. Okay. Don't forget your zipper pull. Come here, thread tail. All right, and double check on this seam allowance. Okay. I didn't tape this, and it's fine. I can just wing it, but likes to get a little slippy. A little bit slippery. Okay. This piece, outer zipper pocket and front flap. It's the back pocket. Wrong piece. This one I think is the slip. Where are my outer zipper pocket pieces? The only thing I will say about this is there's a couple pieces that look really similar in here, and I keep grabbing the wrong ones. Okay, they're literally the last ones in the pile. So she wants, no, this one. That's what we're looking for. Cool. And then we are joining it to, I believe, the flap. This here pink one. Yep. So I'm doing this one. This is my liner, and I want to make sure I keep that straight because it's opposite of all the rest of them. So this is what I'm using for the main body. This is what I'm using for my flap. I'm kind of deviating from what I'm mixing and matching. This artwork is both my liner and my exterior body, depending on what the piece is. So I just need to remember to keep that straight. As long as I'll keep it straight, we'll be all good. Kitchen renovation is like a third of the way done, which I'm really excited about, and both partially annoyed about. Because I had hoped, honestly, this was not a major renovation. This is purely cosmetic, but as with any home thing, you start opening up a can of worms, and I did. And I haven't even shopped for like the fun stuff yet. I still need to go online and find lighting. And I will, but. Okay, so now we're just doing a zipper sandwich. That's pretty self-explanatory, I think. And let me see. That's open. Yes, I want this way. Anyway, yeah, I am almost to the point of being done with the paint on one section, the cabinetry. If you guys tuned in at all to that other video where I was talking about what I've been up to, and I was showing you guys the caulking and all of that, I knew it was going to take a long time, but it is taking an extraordinary amount of time and effort to peel all that gloopy caulking off, sand off all of the drips and the runs that were there from the builder. It has been a lot, and I wasn't thinking it was going to take me as much effort as it is. So it's fine. It'll be worth it in the end, but I just was not anticipating quite this much like time on this particular part of this project. I was sort of anticipating I would already be done, and also the leg saga of the benches for my kitchen table have been kind of a nightmare. I literally spent like 8.5 hours yesterday working on that. Recreating the legs, and then my recreation did not fit the way that I wanted it to, so then I had to scrap that. I made another recreation. That didn't work, so I scrapped it. And I was covered in sawdust. I was filthy by the end yesterday, and so ready to be like done, like ready to just give it up. And I didn't. I sat and ate some lunch, and then I got back to it. But oh my gosh, such a pain. And yeah, it was something else. So I eventually ended up buying legs at Home Depot and like rigging them to fit. And they look fine. They're not perfect. They're tall and skinny because I needed more height. But they cause the bench to wobble just the tiniest bit. And I've not figured out exactly how to fix that yet. I know I will be able to fix it. I just need to figure out how. So I'm going to revisit that, but I did not have the energy or the strength yesterday. I was so fed up. After all that effort, it was a lot. This is the opposite sewing foot of the direction I usually use. I'm right-handed, so this is really annoying to have to pull this tail to the left all the time. I might deal with it, but the other sewing foot is in the other room on my semi-industrial machine. So we'll see how long I last with this, because I don't like to have to hold. I don't have to hold the tails on this machine, but I like to hold it out of the way, if that makes any sense. So we'll see how long I last with this. I'm a creature of habit. I like my routine. And at this point, my routine is completely disrupted. Kitchen's a mess. House is a mess with, like, you know, if you've ever been through renovation, you know what it's like. There's like plastic sheets everywhere and drop cloths and tools, and nothing is where you know, kind of normally... Nothing is where you normally have it. And so it just drives me bonkers. I am definitely a creature of habit. And when all my rituals get, you know, messed up, I'll be fine. But I'm ready for it to be over now. Just gotta keep telling yourself it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. I hope it's gonna be worth it. That's kind of how I feel at this stage. Like, I hope I did the right thing. I think I did. I started painting the walls, and I've painted a lot of the cabinetry, but again, it's taking a really long time to scrape off all the old... I'm not scraping off all the paint. I'm just pulling off the parts that have like runs and gloopy caulking everywhere. So those... they're just taking a really long time. But I'm taking my time on it because the whole point of me doing all of this is to fix all of the bad work. From before. So I don't want to make more bad work for myself, right? Like, that wouldn't make any sense. All right, so that's what I ended up with. These are my selections. I think that'll be cute. Okay, so now we are moving on. Looks like I'm supposed to have one more of these. It's back lower pocket. Back pocket lining. There we go. So this one we don't have to sandwich in the traditional way. We're just going to lay it right on top, and looks like we're going to baste it all the way around. Yep, baste it in place all the way around. I'm going to make sure that my curves are lined up, less so than the tops, because I can go back and trim off the excess if my tabs were too long, which they are. So... I will start Oops. Lost my thread. It's funny, I don't normally have issues with that, but Amanda was saying on the last live video from Amanda from Sew Side, she was like, I keep losing my thread. And I was kind of laughing to myself because I don't normally have that issue, and I wonder if I'm going to have that issue now. Something in the water. It's going around. Definitely feel like I am just low energy today from all this renovation stuff, man. It's actually really nice to just take a break and kind of relax, I'm not gonna lie, but oops, about to lose my pile of pieces here. Okay, I just went back and rebasted that corner. I think I got most of it there. That's going to lay pretty all right. And then I'm just going to trim off my extra tabs. I'm going to trim too close because we are attaching a flap here. And I want it to be the same width as this flap. So I can go ahead and trim off that excess, it looks like, but I'll probably just center it. And I think I'll end up being okay. So at this stage, you should have two linings that are facing each other that are correct. Hi, Eve. Eve says she is from Montreal. Hi, Eve. One of our Canadian northern neighbors there. Now, I don't know about Montreal specifically. Have you gotten snow? I saw that Emmeline Bags posted that they're already doing their big sale because they got snow. So I don't know what part they're necessarily in and if it's snowing everywhere up there. I also saw Wyoming and a couple of other northern states here in the US got their first big snow. We got our first real big rain. I'm down in Texas. We got our first big rain for the last couple of days. It's finally rained, and oh my gosh, it's been, I have to tell you guys, one of the reasons I live in Texas, I'm a born and raised Texan. I did live in Arizona for a while and then wanted to come back here for a few reasons. I love gray days. I love cloudy, overcast, cool, misty gray days. I don't like it when it's hot and humid and gray. Those are gross. But when it's cool and there's a good breeze, which we almost always have a good breeze here, and it almost there's a mist in the air. It feels like ocean spray almost. And the clouds are kind of, Texas clouds are a little different. We get a lot of weather, so we usually have cold fronts and warm fronts hitting together, and it causes these big, fluffy, huge, really heavy bottomed clouds. They look like they're from a movie almost. The weather is so moody and broody, and it looks like it would be just out of a very fall Halloween kind of film. And that is my favorite. And normally by now we would have started having those in September, and then all of October would be like that. Well, it's the 25th, and today is our first day like that. And I'm so happy. It's 71, 75. It might be a little warmer now. And it's been drizzling on and off all day, super gray outside. The nice, chilly wind, whipping your face a little, not crazy windy, breezy. And I'm ecstatic. So we have officially, for real, hit our fall weather, and I could not be happier. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Move my little zipper out of the way here. So yeah, I am here for the winter and fall weather. It finally feels, it was in the 90s last week, by the way, here. So gross. Sunny and 90 and just way too much. It felt like summer still, and I was absolutely over it. I'm being so lazy right now today, you guys. I'm not even clipping my projects. I'm just going at it and hoping for the best. It'll be fine. Or it won't. Let's see. Emileda? I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. She says it's going to be 72 tomorrow in Michigan. Eve says lots of rain in Montreal. Now, is that normal weather for you, though? Emileda, is that normal for you to be 72 in Michigan right now? I feel like that's probably kind of warm. I don't know. I'm not sure. And then Eve, is lots of rain normal for you this time of year? Or is that kind of unseasonable? This is seasonable for us, but we should have already had this for weeks. It should not have been as hot as it was. And I was very fearful. So our normal Halloween kind of ritual, we have a mini bonfire on the driveway, and we just sit in our chairs and have a glass of wine or a beer or whatever. And we pass out candy to the kids and, you know, sit by the bonfire. And that way, you know, we can see all the costumes and like interact with everybody. And we love doing that. Well, if it's too hot, obviously we can't. And I was really fearful. I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be hot on Halloween. Now they're telling us that the high for Halloween, the high will be 50, which I'm actually really ecstatic for, because that means I can get my hoodie. I can have a really nice bold glass of wine. Like, I'm really excited for it. So yes, I am excited. Let me see here. Take my flap. I've attached my flap. Put it in place. Flip the flap panel up away from the zipper and top stitch along the folded edge. Okay, so you want me to top stitch right there. Right? Yep. Okay. I said this before earlier, but I have not made this bag before. So I am totally staring at the directions, like deciphering things. I haven't watched a video on it. Like, I know nothing about this bag, except for what I've seen in the project box and that it looks really cute. So I'm excited to make it though. Oops. Yeah, I was very, very fearful. I had my fair share of hot Octobers. I can remember like going to parties as a young adult. Like, we weren't allowed to celebrate it as a kid. So when I lived with my family, I never celebrated Halloween. But when I got older, you know, and I was out on my own, I would go to, you know, Halloween parties with like coworkers, friends, whatever. And I can remember just sweating, absolutely sweating like crazy during Halloween, and picking my costume, trying to pick my costume accordingly so that I wouldn't be like just absolutely sweating through, I don't know, everything. So, yeah, I have had my fair share of hot Halloweens, and I am totally, completely over it. Okay, so this is my lining that I'm using, waterproof canvas, which is also a substitution from the box. And it looks like we are to sew from like curve to curve right here. These little kind of dimples on the side, we're going to sew around that and through to the flap. Get some of these. Oh, I have so many pieces sitting here. Okay, I can discard that one. Okay, yeah, so we're starting and stopping here. Yeah, and then we're going to turn it and we're going to top stitch. So I'm going to clip this because I think I'm going to have some shift and I don't really want that. So I'm going to clip it. So Eve says up there in Montreal it normally snows in Halloween. So you guys are picking your costumes according to what's warm. So I bet in Arizona, the big thing to do, I mean, I was in my 20s and I was working in bars at the time. So, you know, we would all dress up and everybody would dress up to go out, of course. You know, you're 20 something. And it was, you know, not uncommon to have, like, everything was the sexy version of something, right? So, like, you couldn't go as a Kit Kat, you had to go as a sexy Kit Kat or, like, a sexy judge or whatever. And sexy translates to however you can make the costume work with basically a bathing suit. I don't know what they do these days. I don't dress up anymore. I haven't for a long time. And even back then, my version of the sexy, you know, thing was much, still more covered up than probably a lot of people's versions. But that was the common thing. And honestly, I didn't even blame people. Some people would, you know, kind of shame people like, oh, it's just because they want to be half naked. But honestly, I think they were just hot. It was really freaking hot there. I mean, I can remember 100-degree, like, regularly. One year, so this is funny. I should dig up a picture at some point, see if I can show you guys. It was when the new Alice in Wonderland came out, and the new Cheshire Cat. Obviously, it was like the Tim Burton version of it with Johnny Depp and all that. And so I painted my face, and it took me hours. I put a 3D mask on the top half of my face. I found this masquerade mask that looked like a cat, and I put it on my bare face, and then I painted my face and the mask at the same time. And I did one trial run, and then I did one run in my hotel because I had moved back here. Well, when I left here, it was cold, like it normally is. So my costume was just black flared leggings, a black thin, but a black turtleneck, long sleeve turtleneck, and then this mask in my painted face. And the mask kind of like covered my hair, so I just pulled my hair back in a headband, and I had short hair at the time. It was cut off really short. And so I painted my face. Well, it was so flipping hot when I got to Arizona. Oh my God, I was dying. I actually won most frightening costume. Actually, I have the little award up on my board right over there, but I don't think you guys can see it. But there's a most frightening costume award there. And I won that because people were so terrified by the makeup that I did. And I have to tell you, I did a really good job. When I closed my eyes, it looked like I painted my mouth, like the bottom half of my face. If I kept my mouth closed, it looked like the Cheshire Cat grin across my whole face. And I painted like my neck and the mask like into my face. And I distorted all of it. And I'm not even really sure how I did it, to be honest. I just did it on a whim, but it was a lot of fun. And it took me a lot of time, hours. But I was sweating so bad by the end of the night. And I'm really glad that makeup stayed on, but like it barely stayed on. It was so hot. And it's just funny because it's like I was gone from Arizona, hold on. No, that's right. Okay. I thought I had my lining backwards and I got a little freaked out there for a minute. I'm going to sew it from this side because my canvas is sticky. We're on the wrong side of the canvas and it's sticking to the bed a little bit. So I'm going to rotate and go from this side. Anyway, yeah, I did win, so that was cool. That's like the only costume and or like anything like that I have ever won, but I thought it was pretty neat, and I had a lot of fun doing it, but oh man, I was hot. So my mother-in-law is from Wisconsin, and sorry, everything shifted here, so I'm going to pull off some of these clips early so I can pull it. Anyway, she has often told me about being a kid in Wisconsin trying to trick-or-treat with all her brothers and sisters, and how terrible and hot. I am not having good luck with this waterproof canvas here, so I think I'm just gonna pull off all the clips I just put on and wing it because it is shifting like a mofo. I don't know what's going on over here. I don't usually have this much shift from waterproof canvas. This is weird. The funnier thing is, like, look how much overlap I have now because it just stretched so much. I don't normally have that. That's just bizarre. We started off pretty good, but look at that wrinklage. That is just not typical. I don't really like that. And I think when I get my flap all done, it's going to look like poo. Well, I don't know. When I turned it out, it's pretty okay. I didn't know. I'm not sure what's going on with that. How strange. I was afraid of the shifting, so that's why I was like, oh, I guess I'll try it from the cotton canvas side and we'll see if that's any better. I have never had that much shift in an Otter text before. I don't know if that's something you guys have ever had. I have not. That's a first for me. Funnily enough, it's way happier on this side. That is weird. Okay, well, guess I shouldn't have worried about it, and I'll just have to redo this other side that pulled. Having all kinds of weird things today. Maybe because I came from the other side, it just compensated well enough and did okay. I don't know. I just think it's going to be puffy. I might just try to like poke this out real quick and see if I really need to redo the other side or if it's laying okay. It is kind of weird actually. This waterproof canvas is a little thinner than what I'm kind of normally used to, but the weirder thing is sorry, I probably just grabbed my mic there. It does feel a little thinner than what I'm normally used to, but not a ton thinner. So I wonder if maybe this is just a different batch. It kind of feels a little bit like a latex balloon. Just a little thinner than what I'm normally used to. But I did just get some other colors in this batch and I used those too and they were all right. So not sure. Oh, I had cat hair on my shirt. Now I've got cat hair on my bag. I need one of my may contain cat hair tags. Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah, even though it shifted, I thought I was going to see a whole bunch of puckering out here and I was going to need to redo that seam. I didn't even clip this and I just kind of turned it out real dirty like, and it's pretty okay. I'm a little shocked by that. I am going to turn it back over and clip it, but I wanted to... Today really is just full of surprises. I really thought that was going to look terrible. Yeah, this is easier to turn than normal waterproof canvas too, that I usually use. So I wonder if this is just a thinner version. That's interesting. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really think I like it all that much. I'm used to the thicker stuff. I like for my waterproof canvas to give me a run for my money. This one's almost too easy. So oftentimes I actually don't pink my curves. I know you can. I just clip the seam allowance really small. That's often what I do. Because this bag has kind of these interesting little, like, I don't know what you'd call them, hip dips almost, like on the side. I might opt to clip those because they kind of suck inward and that's not super typical. So just to make sure we're all good and it's laying super nice. I might also hop across the room and turn on my heat press really quick. I like to press a curved, like once it's all burst before I top stitch, I really like to press a curve like that. But I think that's kind of optional. I'm using a cotton canvas on here, and it's just a little bit thicker than your traditional woven. So I don't know if this is what I was talking about, these little dips. That goes in pretty far. So I'm just going to clip just a tiny bit right there. Since it's concave. I don't really think you need to, but I really hate turning something out and then having to come back to it. Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people will just finger press this, and it might be able to with this thinner waterproof canvas. That might be okay. That really took me by surprise. I can't believe how thin this waterproof canvas is, but I really did not like how much that moved and shifted. But it turned out okay in the end. Anyway, with something this thin, I might actually just be able to avoid the pressing. Some of those thicker, you know, the normal waterproof canvas, you really gotta like Give your fingers a workout trying to press that open. Yeah, I don't know, that might be okay. The key, in my opinion, to a really nice flap like this is really taking your time. If you have to go back and sew something, if you have a weird little corner, do it now, because, you know, a rounded flap like this, it's a big focal point on the bag, and you will totally see those little parts if they're just the tiniest bit too sharp. And that means you'll either want to go back and just sew around the curve a tiny bit. Like, I don't even take out the old stitches. I just stitch right over the top of it and make sure my curve looks seamless and rounded. Got a little spare thread there I need to burn off, but we'll deal with that afterward. Yeah, I think we'll actually end up being okay, just as long as we keep this all turned out nice. So now I believe we top stitch. Yes, we do. Top stitch all along the curved edge, again starting and stopping at each side. Leave half of the zipper pocket, I'm sorry, leave the half with the zipper pocket unsewn so you don't do anything down here. Well, that's what I thought. Oops. This is totally the opposite foot of what I'm used to working with. Y'all know me if you've followed for any amount of time. I pretty much assemble and use my zipper pocket, or my zipper foot all the time, no matter what I'm doing, and especially for top stitching, but I assemble with it because I'm too lazy to swap back and forth, but it actually works pretty well. But this is the opposite foot of what I'm used to working with. I usually go with the needle on the outside instead of the inside, so it means I have to swap how I am used to sewing. That's kind of throwing me a little. That is my biggest trick to nice and even top stitching, by the way, on any bag, contrast thread or not. I line up the edge of my zipper foot and I use that to follow, and it will get me consistent top stitching across my whole bag too, like on the zipper pocket, the flap, everything. I just stick with that, and then I don't have to eyeball it. I don't have to guess. The foot is always the same width and the same amount away from the edge if you keep it lined up nice. Some people, when they first see that, they say, oh, that looks hard, but it's really not, in my opinion. It's actually a lot easier than trying to use a double prong foot. Again, just in my opinion. This is really open, so I can see exactly where I'm going, exactly where I've been. It's pretty easy to keep it all nice and lined up on the curves. Pretty agile. And I just always end up with a really nice result. So I might still go and give this a press just because it's wrinkly. And nobody wants a wrinkly flap. Okay, so that's kind of where we've gotten. This is the back. This is the front. I am just gonna go heat up this press really quick, give it one just quick little squish. Cannot abide by a wrinkly bag. I actually had this on earlier and then I turned it off. Okay, so we'll press this in just a hot second. Check out comments here. So Let's see. You said that's normal for Montreal for it to be rainy this time of year. So that's kind of interesting. So you get more of the traditional fall experience too then. I mean, in my opinion, rainy and kind of cold and whatever is fall feeling, at least for us. And then Emeleda, she said it's just Emily, it looks like, but on your, sorry, I was reading your YouTube name, but she says it's warm 40s next week. What does that mean? It's warm. Oh, maybe she means, I was to say, what is warm 40s? That sounds totally cold. I think what she means is it's warm for them. It'll be in the 40s next week. That's so funny. Let's see. Normally snows on Halloween, so we talked about that. Oh, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. She says, put some tape on your presser foot. Yeah, so normally I'll use my Teflon foot, but I don't have to. I've been using this machine like this for years. I've never had a waterproof canvas shift like that. That was weird, but I mean, obviously it turned out fine. But I have literally never had that happen before. And I have a Teflon foot for this. I just don't need it hardly ever, no matter what I'm using. So strange. I really do just think this is a thinner, now that I'm like really feeling it, the back of it feels much more, like I said, like a latex balloon. It's just a lot thinner. But it turned out well, so hey, no problem. So anyway, I have some of those. I have 5 cats on my bag, most likely cat hair, yeah. Yes, I just have 1 cat, but I was earlier on the live that I was on when I was prepping this bag. I was hanging out with Susie and Amanda from Sew and Sew Girlie Fun, and we were talking about cats, and so I scooped up my kitty cat and brought her on camera for a few minutes. I was holding her, and she's going through a big shedding right now, so I got all this little tiny fine hair all over the place, but that's okay. I'll give it a lint roll. This sewing machine brand, Cindy, is a Ceruba, and that's actually the brand right there. Once you start looking at industrial machines, you notice, I'm going to move the camera for a minute, but hopefully it's not going to shake too much. I'm just going to bring you guys around front. You start to notice that pretty much all brands are the same, and they're all made by like the same company for the most part. So same body construction, it's a self-oiling machine, same tables, they all come with same knee lift. For the most part, the same screens and power and dials and all of that. Almost all of this is the same up here. And you'll notice when you start shopping between brands, even like Juki, King Max, I think there's one called like Jack or something like that, Jack something. When I was shopping amongst all the brands, I started to see a ton of similarities. The bolts and the different screws are even in the exact same places. This machine primarily uses Singer parts. So like this is a Singer throat plate. It's not a Singer motor or anything. And the companies, including like Juki and all of them, the people who make the motors, the servo motors right back here, there's only like 2 of them in the entire world. They're all made by the same, It's kind of like refrigerators and dishwashers and stuff, even though it's branded like a Frigidaire or a KitchenAid or a whatever. They're like all the same company for the most part, and there's only like 2 or 3 manufacturers the world over, no matter who you're getting it from. So I absolutely adore this machine. It was brand new with everything you see here and then some. It's got a servo motor, extra lights, it has a knee lift, thread cutter, all these adjustable things and all that, and it was like $1,700 delivered, and that included a whole bunch of extra accessories, extra plates, Teflon feet. The dealer gave me a ton of extra needles and feet, and I've had all this stuff for years and I haven't even gone through it. I also got like 10 or 12 spools of thread with it too. So he just said, just pick out like 10 or 12 of them. He delivered it for that price, and filled it up with oil and helped us move it in. So it was like $1,700 brand new from the dealer. And he even gave me his phone number and said, FaceTime me anytime you have a problem. So, anyway, I absolutely adore the machine. And I think going to a dealer, finding a good dealer, I'm going to press this while I talk to you guys. Finding a good dealer is imperative. No brand is going to be, for the most part, better than a good dealer. A good dealer is worth their weight in gold. If they won't talk to you or help you after the sale, then what good? It doesn't matter. So my suggestion would be go to the dealer, whoever it is, even if you have to make a little weekend trip and fly into town to visit an online dealer that you're dealing with. I would highly recommend that, personally. And I would meet them and I would say, I want to sit down with this waterproof canvas and this vinyl or this foam or whatever I want to use. Bring some thread with you. Say, I want to use the Saya Swag thread or the, whoever thread. And if they won't let you do that, then I would say move on, because they shouldn't be scared to let you do stuff. That's what I did with this dealer, and he was phenomenal. I tried every machine in the shop, Sailrite, Highland, Juki, the Saruba brand. There was like one or two others I tried, and I loved this one and I couldn't beat the price. So, and I had been to a couple of other dealers and they were okay, but they just weren't very nice or very helpful, frankly. So anyway, I think all that is really important when you're on your journey. It's important to find a good dealer, a good servicer, somebody who isn't afraid to tell you where you can buy parts and like help you kind of do it on your own if you want to. My guy was not shy about that at all. He was like, yeah, you can get the parts right here. Like, here's what you need. Here's what you can do. So that was really nice. Okay. Now we're at the point where we're supposed to be doing the turn lock. I don't really know if I want to do this turn lock, I'll be honest with you guys. I think I might skip this whole step and deal with it later. I have some rivet through, snaps, and I might do that. I guess I need to see if I can locate those, but I did have them and I had them in black. I think I'd prefer to just finish the bag. You see, these are liners, 2 main bodies, 2 pockets that I think I'm not going to do, so I can set those aside. And then I've got my gusset, and this one is a back pocket, I think. No, this is the front pocket. So this is where I would have to put it if I'm doing it. Oh, screw it. Maybe I should just do it. Turn locks take so much effort, but they are really pretty. Let's grab this turn lock over here. I don't think I brought it over to the machine. Maybe I did. We'll see how involved it is. How about that? Because I don't really have a whole ton of hardware. This is the turn lock that it came with in the project box, and it's so pretty. A little piece there. So it's got some plastic on the front of it. And that goes in like that. I'll have to grab a scrap of Peltex and put that in there. I think if I were to use this, I'd probably have to foam this front pocket too, because I just don't think this is going to be thick enough, even with Peltex. I don't think I want to do that. I think I might just do an ordinary magnetic snap because of the thinness of my material. I think that is maybe going to be the way to go. Let me see. These are the rivet on after the fact, which, by the way, if y'all have never seen these, let me show you. Another bag maker years ago at a show turned me on to these, and I bought them online. They rivet on when your bag is fully complete. So the reason that she turned me on to them, she said, what do you do if you forget your your magnetic snap or whatever and your bag is complete? And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. So you get a male and a female part here, and then these buttons go on the back, and you use your rivet press to install it. So you literally finish the bag fully and completely, and let's say you forgot something, these go on like this, and they're finished on all sides. And they just rivet on. They are so stinking easy. So I think that might be what I'm going to do with it. Because I like this graphic, and I use the art all over. I don't really know where I want this, but this is just going to look like that in the end. And it's gunmetal. It matches the rest of my hardware. So I kind of like that. I think I'm going to save that big lock for something else. It's really pretty, but I want to save it for the right thing. I think it'd be really cute on a little clutch. So maybe I'll do that. Let's see, this is a male one. Put it back in here. So yeah, I think I might do these, and we'll pull out the rivet press and we'll do these at the very end. So we'll just put these in a pile on my shelf. So that means we get to just move on with our lives. Hooray. The one thing I might opt to do, give this a little finger press, get my center line going. I might just stick the one back here so that I don't have a finished thing in the pocket. You could totally have a button in the pocket, but I know some people like to put their phone in there. And so I think, where is my pattern piece for the placement? Somebody was saying, use your pockets, but then that means I have to do another zippered pocket. I don't think I want to. This bag just is not that big. Here we go. So I think what I will do is just get my snap placement for this done right now. That's a sharp ripper. It's brand new. In fact, I think this is the first. I used it for a second at Wizardry, but I think, oops, one too many pieces out here. Anyway, this is the first time I've used my Dead Oak Crafts Saya ripper. Really nice ripper, by the way. If you're in the market for a ripper, look how pretty this is. I think I've shown it before. Really, really nice craftsmanship. I love the leopard, the little hint of leopard on here, and it's made with sewing string. I don't know if I get like some light on it maybe. Love this ripper, and it feels really heavy in your hand, but not so heavy it's like uncomfortable. Oh, I might need to poke that hole again. Anyway, yeah, I got these on Amazon. I have no idea what they're called, honestly, but like you probably just call them like rivet on. I'm going to grab a scrap of Peltex to put behind this over at the table. But they are a lifesaver if you forget to put your closure on your bag. So she told me, she was like, oh, it happened to me once. I was making all these little wristlets and I got like 10 of them done. And so I went searching online for these, and yeah, and so she told me about them, and I was like, that is the most amazing thing ever. So I just invested in a couple of colors, and I've just had them rolling around here. They're not expensive, and like I said, you use your rivet press and like a 13 millimeter die, I think is what you need for them. Something like that. And so if you completely finish the bag, I'm tucking mine into my liner right now, but you don't normally have to do that. If you forget, and you set that up yet. If you forget and you need a closure and you're already done with the bag, they're a really handy thing to have. I couldn't believe after all my years I'd never like heard of these or seen them. I had no idea about them, so I was really quite chuffed that I had a nice neighbor at that craft show. We were both bag makers at a craft show like next to each other, so most people, you know, wouldn't be talking to their competition, as it were, right? Like they'd be ignoring the person next to him and probably be annoyed that they were even near another person, right? That was like making bags, but she was the sweetest. She was so kind. Let me see. I think that's the right size. Yep. So I'll show you guys real quick. I'll come over there. The name of these, I got them at camsnaps.com. And of course I don't have the bag, but I'll show you. It comes with 3 pieces in the set. So you put this in the top, which is like probably a, I don't know, an 18 or like a 20. It might be like a 15 millimeter, something like that. This goes in the top and you use it for both pieces from the back side. So right here, and then here you get a male and a female in the set for the magnetic snap for the rivet on ones. And these ones are fully, like I said, they're fully finished on the back. Didn't really think about it. I kind of wonder if I shouldn't start carrying those in the shop. I don't know if any of you guys use those. I don't use them all that often, to be honest. But I do wonder if I started carrying them in the shop, if y'all would be interested. Oops, come back here. Gosh, today is just a strange day. I cannot get this dye in my machine to save my life. There we go. It's like all cross-threaded and wonky. Good golly. Just one of those days. Nothing wants to cooperate, you know? Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's super cute. I love that. And now I just did 2 scraps of Peltex, but like, look, it doesn't take away from the artwork. You barely notice it. I love that. I didn't want to, you know, although, did I just do that backwards? If I did, oh well. No, I guess not, maybe. I think I did. This was supposed to be on the underside of the flap, and this was the liner. So I guess this is just going to be the liner now. Whatever. So I guess when you flip it up, it'll look like that. And we'll have glitter on the liner, which isn't too big of a deal, but that's not what I wanted to do. Oh well. Okay, let's pop those aside. These are my liners for the main body. I'm going to pop those aside too. All right, so we'll do the other piece in the very end when we're all done. Where am I in my instructions? Okay, so just what I thought. Right sides together, sew it across the top, 1/4 inch, and then we're gonna flip them and top stitch. Yeah, they were saying earlier on the live broadcast, like, oh, once you've made it, this bag is like really not complicated, and they're very right, both Amanda and Susie. This is a really fun, like, not convoluted sew. It's a good blank canvas to showcase a lot of those cute prints and use up, you know, cute fun prints because it's a casual style bag. Some of these bags, I really like them, but if you're like me, and you have art, fandom art, like this kind of stuff, or like Disney or whatever, some of these bags are too, how I would put it, too structured, too serious for such a fandom style fabric. And in my opinion, they don't look right. They don't feel right. They're like too structured. It's just, there's too much going on there, and not enough from the fabric, or vice versa, right? Like they just, the styles don't mesh. And I don't love that. I buy the fabrics because I love them and I want to showcase them and have them, oh, it's backwards again. You know, I want them to be the star, and I don't want such an overwhelming bag that is like too, I don't know, uppity for like such casual fun fabric. Does that make any sense? So that being said, this is a great bag that, I believe her name is Kathy at Dill. She did a really nice, fun but casual bag for this box. And I think it not only lends itself to this art, but I could see myself making really fun, cute fandom bags. So I'm just gently and making sure, as this is like a concave curve, and I could have clipped it and all that other stuff, but I just didn't feel like it. So I'm pressing it out as I go, because I'm being lazy. But I want to make sure that curve actually stays. If you are less experienced or just more of a timid sewist, you could for sure put some double-sided tape underneath there and press it out first. I don't know if she tells us to baste all the way around. Yes, she does tell us to baste. I am going to baste just the bottom of this first to prevent shift. And then we're actually going to baste it, it looks like on one of our made body panels next. But I like to baste, pre-baste ahead of time. Just get that flap down there. The corners are not going to move out, but you could have shifting elsewhere. And I don't like that, so... But this is also why I'm slower than a lot of other sewists, honestly. I like that one better. Because I take my time and I baste. And I know a lot of people, you know, they don't like to or whatever, and that's okay. But I like to take my time and make sure I don't have to redo things. If I give myself an opportunity to screw it up, I will. So I just don't. And I'm only going to use like 3 clips here. So this is how I like to baste these. I don't have a walking foot on this machine, and that's really never caused me a day of trouble. But what I like to do to prevent my pockets from getting uneven is I actually start a little below and I backward stitch up and I tack the pocket into place. That's about all the basting that I do. And I'm actually going to repeat the same thing on the other side in the seam allowance, of course. Trying to do this with my left hand is driving me crazy. I can do some stuff with my left hand, but not a lot of coordinated things. Making sure my bottom stays lined up. So once again, in this case, oh, come on. I'm not left-handed. Okay, tack it down. And that just ensures my tops stay nice and equal. Because the clips, as you're going around and trying to baste, can really like shift on you and do weird things. So we are going to lengthen our stitch length. Once again, I'm going to come down and baste the bottom. And I like to do from one side of the bottom up, and then I actually repeat on the other side. And because I'm using foam, I'm really going to have to squish as I go. It's been a while. Oh, I completely missed my back panel. I didn't squish enough. That's why I was just trying to tell you guys. I squished down here. Do you see how I caught my foam? But then I didn't squish all the way around the corner. And I didn't catch my foam. Okay, one more time. Squish. Okay, that time I caught my foam because I squished it good. I really like foam. It has been a long time though since I've sewn a bag with foam. I love the structure that it gives to a casual style bag. So if you've not worked with foam, Don't be scared. It doesn't bite. But there are some techniques. One of the things is it will, it's lofty. And so in my experience, I squash it down really well while I'm sewing ahead of time. So like if I'm coming down here and I'm starting to sew here, as I'm sewing toward it, I squish it really good. If you squish well, see that time I squished good and I caught my foam the whole way around, which is good. Dang it, y'all, I just realized I've got you orientated the wrong way. This is going to be long ways. I hate when that happens, but now that I've already started one way, it won't let me put you the other way. Oh, I need a big sign up here that says, turn your phone. Facebook wants you to be long ways. YouTube wants you to be landscape instead of portrait, and I totally forgot to rotate it. Darn it. Let's see, I'm going to go back and just read through your stuff here. I tuned in late. I missed the kitty. I'll have to go back and watch. Yeah, Emily, not on this broadcast. I earlier today was on a broadcast prepping this bag with Sew Oside and Sew Girlie Fun, who is the person who did this whole box and all of this art and stuff is from Sew Girlie Fun. So yeah, we were just gabbing and talking and prepping and wanted to give my little kitty some love. Her name is Kitty Pants. That is her official given registered name. We just call her Kitty or Kitty Cat or Kitters. She pretty much answers to almost anything, any weird little noises we make at her, and she's super talkative. She's a sweet girl. I might be able to get her to come in here. She comes when she's called if she hears me, but she's getting older now, so sometimes her hearing's not great. Kitty Cat. Kitty. Kitty Cat. I don't think she hears me, because usually if she hears me, you'll hear meow, meow, meow. She'll respond. I don't know where she is. Let's see. Kitty Cat. There you are. Come here. Come here, baby. I don't know if you guys can hear her meowing. Hi, kitty. Psst, 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 psst. Come here. Come on. You want to come say hi? She knows she's not supposed to be in the sewing room, so now she's like, what are you doing? Yeah, I know. You're such a good girl. You know you're not supposed to be in here. She's looking at me like, okay, if you carry me, I'll go. So you guys can say hi to... Normally my animals are not allowed in the sewing room, and they know that. This is Kitty Pants. She's a super chill kitty cat. Can you say hi? What are you doing? Rubbing on my sewing machine? Did you find sharp corners? Can you say hi? I don't know if my mic is picking that up. She's the purringest cat ever. She purrs all the time. And she's a loud purrer. Huh. Are you a loud purrer? Hey, baby. I can't remember how old she is now. I'm trying to remember. You guys are zoomed in like pretty far too. She's a pretty big cat. Don't really want you on my bag there, Miss Kitty. Yeah, we've had her since she was a baby, and it's, gosh, I think we got her in, she was a rescue. You were a rescue kitty, huh? She was found in an alleyway by a rescue person, all by herself. She was like 7 weeks old, no mom, no litter, and nobody ever came back for her. She was all by herself. So she was a bottle-fed baby, and then she was put up for adoption, and we adopted her. And she's the sweetest. She's a tuxedo cat, a full tuxedo. She's got all 4 sock feet and the white belly. Don't ya? And she even has the little white nose marking. And she's just like the most chill, sweet cat. I've never had a cat before. I'll probably never have another cat because apparently, I don't know, I think she kind of set me up for failure. She's so sweet and easy and just like the most chill. She doesn't care about anything. Nothing bothers her. And apparently that's not the case with all cats. So yeah, she's a long-haired kitty and she's just the most chill. Huh. Aren't you so chill? I love that she talks when you talk to her. Usually if I'm holding her, she won't meow too much, but if I keep talking to her, she might. Kiket. Kiket. Kitty, what are you doing? No, she's just purring. She's just super happy. You're not going to talk to me? No? Oh, okay. She's just here for cuddles. Cuddle break. Huh. Cuddle and kitty cat break. Sorry I woke you up from your naps. She has the longest whiskers. They are so ridiculously long. She's always had them her whole life. When she was a baby, she had the biggest head and these huge whiskers and these big old ears and like no body. She looked like a Pez dispenser. But yeah, I think we got her, I want to say around 2008, 2009. So somebody else do the math. I don't know how old she is. She's my old girl. But looking at her, you like wouldn't know. And she doesn't really act old, honestly. Do ya? Huh. You're not old. You're not old. You're just mature. Mature and cuddly. Yeah, she's also, like, if you come here to our house, she's everybody's best friend. She has no boundaries. And we raised her just like the dogs. So, and there's always been dogs around here. And so I think that's why she, like, comes when she's called. And I don't know. We didn't really do any of the traditional cat stuff with her. I didn't know you were supposed to. So outside of a litter box, otherwise she like eats when the dogs eat. She gets fed on a schedule. She doesn't only drink out of fountains and like some of those other weird cat things. Like she drinks out of the same water bowl the dogs do. She's so chill. So I don't think I would ever get another cat because I think I would be surprised. So anyway, what are you doing? Getting more rubes? You're a ruby kitty cat. Let's see. You will still get the pull on the snaps or the rivet magnetic snaps. Sorry, I'm going back and reading some of your comments. Cindy said she never heard of my brand of sewing machine. Yeah, you likely would not. So Saruba's, while I was able to get it from my dealer and they have them, they are the largest used machine by manufacturers, like textile manufacturers the world over. They're really big in like Turkey, and like Taiwan and other countries where there's like tons and tons and tons of textile manufacturing. Saruba is like one of the largest ones that they use. So yeah, anyway, and I didn't discover that until after I bought it and I was like, what even is this? But I love it. This thing could sew 2 arms together and be totally fine. So yes, Yamada is one of the brands too. The long screwdriver, she asked, what is it for? So, you're gonna have to sit in my lap for a second, Kit or Cat. So if you come from underneath the machine, let me see if I can do this one hand. And you open the little door here, you can access some of the other stuff here. So the screwdriver is long enough that you can get it all the way down in here. And also a short screwdriver is a really big pain for these. But do you see how the handle is up here above the rest of the machine? I can access these throat plate screws with the longer screwdriver instead of a stubbier one that would be right in the way of everything that I'd be using. So that's just something to think about. What? Are you going to sew? Yeah, you're not even supposed to be in here. I'm going to go put you back. I don't want you to get used to this. Bye, kitty. Bye, kitty cat. Bye. Okay, I'm going to shut the door because now you're going to come back in here. I know it. And you're not supposed to. Go take a nap. Okay, well, now I'm sufficiently covered in cat hair. Anyway, so that is what the long screwdriver is for. I would suggest if you can go raid one out of the garage or go buy one, a long screwdriver is a lifesaver. It's way easier than because even the short stubby ones are too much in the way. The long screwdriver is genius. The dealer I got this from was like, you need this. And I said, no, I have screwdrivers. He said, no, you need a long one. So that worked really, really well. So definitely good customer service. Yes, that is a must in my opinion. Let's see. Magnetic rivets. I discovered them from So Sweetness. purchased them from Cam Snaps. I may have gotten mine from Cam Snaps. I know I got the dies, and I'm pretty sure I got these from Cam Snaps. It's been years now, honestly, but I bought these, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and I've just had them rolling around, and I don't, like I said, personally use them all the time. They're really more for emergencies in my opinion, but I do like them. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, now that you said that, 14 millimeter and 18, I don't know what size these are. They're probably a 14. Actually, looking at that, 25 is an inch. I bet you these would be 18 millimeter. That's more what they look like. So anyway, she looks like a fluffy version of my tuxedo. One has a white chin, the other has a little white beauty mark on her upper lip. Yeah, from what I understand, it's like either the tuxedos have the little white mark right here or no mark on the face at all. That's like a normal thing. I'm not sure why. We had a calico cat. It was little. We called her Whiskers because they were so long. Yeah. So I sometimes, when she was little, I would call her like curly whiskers or long whiskers. And she, like I said, she answers to anything, but her official name registered as Kitty Pants, like 2 words. I heard calico, we were talking about this on the broadcast earlier, calico cats are crazy. I don't know that because I've never had one, but somebody mentioned to me like calico cats are kind of a special temperament. They're a little nuts. And Emily said, my cat Jeffrey is a pretty cool tuxedo. He loves all the other cats. He's super chill. The only thing is he loves to cause trouble when he's hungry. You know what? Actually, ours is a little bit like that too. So she will go find like we are always getting deliveries because of the shop. So I always have deliveries here. And a lot of the boxes from China come wrapped in plastic, like tape. Sometimes the little piece of tape will come off. That's the one thing she loves to go after is tape. She loves to chew on tape. She doesn't eat it. She just chews on it, and she knows it drives me nuts. And I don't let her do it because I don't want her to ingest it, right? So, anyway, yeah, she will, do stuff like that. And it kind of makes me laugh because it's like if you don't feed her at the proper moment that she wants to be fed, she will literally stalk off somewhere and find, like, if we get deliveries probably every other day, and she will find the minuscule piece of tape on that box and start munching on it as loud as she can. And I will literally yell across the house, cat! And she'll stop and she'll go, meow. And then 10 seconds later, if you haven't fed her, she'll go back and start munching on the tape. That's like her thing. If she wants to be like a brat, she will go find tape, and like if she can't find any around, then it's even worse. She's a total menace. So that's kind of funny. I wonder if that's a tuxedo temperament thing. I've never had other cats to compare it to, so she is, from what I understand, kind of a weird breed or weird temperament or whatever, and not typical of most cats, but don't ask me because I don't really know. I've been told that by other cat owners. Jeff is a plastic eater. My shower liner, oh my gosh. Yeah, we don't have any plastic shower liners at this point. We have in the past, and I don't really recall her eating that. I'm trying to think if tape is her thing. She likes to munch on tape. I'm very fortunate, and I don't ever really keep it around a lot for her to munch on it, but she just chews on it. She doesn't eat it, so that's good. She says that's funny that he does the exact same thing, that he will find plastic and he'll somehow find it and he'll eat it. He'll munch on it. I really wonder if that's, because there are like traits that kind of go, from cat breed to cat breed. And I wonder if that's a tuxedo thing. I wonder if that's just like a weird little thing they do. I don't know. Okay, I finally managed to get some of these pieces under control. So I've got one more main body here. I've got 2 liners. This is why I was confused earlier, by the way, because I opted to do the same thing for the main body and the liner. But I really wanted to use this art in here. And then I've got my gusset, which I already did like way earlier. So I've got my webbing attached here through my foam, which I opted to do foam on here. So I could have a good structured body on this bag. So I think we're kind of getting down to nitty gritty on here because I don't have that many pieces left. In fact, yeah, it looks like we're just doing the gusset now. Cool. Okay, I'm going to put that piece on the floor. I guess it was time for me to grab. So we're going to grab this piece, the flap. This bag has really interesting construction, by the way. And I'm going to set these aside. Yeah, truth be told, I mean, I like all animals, but I'm not really a cat person. I'm that person that, like, in past, when I went to other people's houses, I was, like, fearful of their cat. Mostly because when I was younger, cats never liked me, any cat. And they would, like, swipe at me or hiss, you know, and I've always been kind of a dog person, so I just sort of stayed away from cats. Well, you know, she's not like any cat, you know, I've ever dealt with. And, I just, you know, I don't know. And then when I, you know, got her and I was like, well, she's super chill. Like, maybe I just was around, like, different cats and, you know, all cats are really chill. And from what I understand, people are like, no, that's not true. They're mostly brats. So I'm going to look here really quick and make sure. I did not baste around this whole area. She said not to, I think. Right? Didn't you say not to? No. Hold on. We're missing, our main body piece. I was going to say, we missed something. Okay. It's the piece that we basted. This. We got to attach this. Duh. So what we should end up with in the end... Okay. It's because we didn't do the turn lock part, and I was like, why am I missing something? So it looks like we should have, according to her pictures, basted in place. This piece we basted. What are we doing? I'm missing, I don't know, something here. This zipper and this part. But that can't be right. There's supposed to be a gusset here. What? Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to focus on this pattern here real quick and figure out what I'm missing. Because I deviated from the little turn lock. It's like, okay, well, I didn't do any of those steps. What else am I missing here? Do that. And we did here. And then we top stitched it. And then we basted it. Okay. Take your two bag body pieces. Take your two exterior bag body pieces. Lay them right sides together. Align your completed slip pocket on the bag. Yeah, baste it in place. Okay, what? Find your center mark. This is just weird. The image doesn't really match up with what I'm reading here, but I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's see. Find and mark the center of your exterior gusset, which is here. And I don't actually have to mark mine because I ran out of vinyl, so I had to piece mine. So I actually have a really nice little center here. So I've got a center mark here, but you'll want to mark your gusset if you didn't have one. Bottom center of your outer bag body side panels and the bottom center of your outer bag body side panels. What in the world are the outer bag body side panels? I don't think anything on here is labeled as a side panel. I just cut this bag today and I don't recall seeing that in the table of contents. What am I missing? Could be I forgot to cut a piece, but sometimes in the directions, you know, they like call it something different and it's not what it's labeled as. And I struggle with that because my brain is like, but you called it the blah, blah, blah piece. So like, I'm always concerned I'm making a mistake when they're not calling it the same thing in the directions as what it's labeled as, if that makes any sense. So now I'm struggling like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Align your completed slip pocket, blah, blah, blah. We already did that. Okay, find and mark the center of your exterior gusset and the bottom center of your outer bag body side panels. I'm guessing that by side panel, she means these. Like they're not because when I think of the side, I think of like the gusset. That's the side of the bag, like the side panel. We don't have side panels because we've got this long gusset. So I'm thinking I'm not missing as much as I think I am. And there's an image here that basically shows this flap in the directions and this little corner piece right here. like they're laying on top of each other, but that doesn't make any sense. Not to me anyway. Having never made this bag, for sure it doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna see if I can't figure it out by clipping and then seeing where we go from there. My mind thinks it knows what we're supposed to be doing here, but I could be wrong. Okay, so we would come up here, we would do this, clip that all into place, yada yada. Clip it at the top edges, clip together all the way around, easing around the corners as you go. 1/4 inch seam allowance, snip into the curve. Don't cut your stitch line. Trim down the seam allowance by half. It will help keep bulk out of the seam once it's turned out. Repeat steps 2, 3 to attach the other bag side panel. And now onto the lining. I think what is confusing me is this is not the outside of the bag body. This is a pocket. And I'm looking at, what am I looking at? I think there's just something lost in translation here. There's no direction for this image, but it definitely shows this one on top of this one. Measure the space from the top of the bag body. Complete your outer panels at the same side to ensure everything is even based into place. That's the direction I was missing. Okay. Sometimes that doesn't make any sense. Because this is supposed to be the flap that goes on this side. Like so. My flap is supposed to attach like that. So this is an outer bag body panel. The gusset goes between here, and this is the back of the bag. This is what is not making sense to me. I've got one more foam panel over here, and this should go like this when it's all completed. So what am I missing here? That should be right sides together. I'm guessing the picture that she shows is of this panel next to it, but I don't think that's the one we're basting into place because that wouldn't make any sense. I think we're just supposed to be basting this one into place, and her images are throwing me for a loop. I think that is what's going on here. So I'm going to trim the excess off of here because this did shift just the tiniest bit. And I know she doesn't say to baste this, but I am going to. And I might actually baste it before I trim because we're not turning through that or anything. She doesn't instruct you to baste it, but again, like I said, I like to baste. And I need to trim this now. So I'm going to baste along the bottom right here. That way I can trim this and I know nothing is going to move weird. Okay, now I think we're cooking. Sometimes I got to put all the pieces together to figure out what's going on and make sure I don't make a mistake. I have learned, by the way, what did I just do with that bag panel? There it is. To just work through the process and puzzle piece the pieces together if it's not clicking, because I will totally make a mistake. If I give myself an opportunity, I will absolutely make a mistake every time. It's my favorite thing to do. And then I got to unpick it anyway, so I'd rather just play with the pieces, figure out what it is I need to do. And I think, again, once I make this bag all the way through, it's like, oh, that's going to make total sense, and I won't even need to look at the pattern. This is definitely a very beginner-friendly pattern. And it's been a fun sew so far, but yeah, having never made it, I'm swinging wild. Okay, makes way more sense to my brain now. So because I kept the foam out of the seam allowance right here, and then squishing it down is going to be a big old pain, I'm actually just going to baste it really quick. Oops, like so. I don't know if that made any sense, but because the foam is on the top side versus the bottom, now I don't have to squish it. So that's why I did that. Just to help avoid shifting. Okay, that is now... Except I don't like the way it did that. Boo! I'm going to redo that baste. It's a little hard to see from the back, and it's probably fine. It would all be in the seam allowance, but I don't like how much that shifted over. Okay. Way better. Perfect. Okay. Now I can move on. It's probably also not necessary to cut like extra stuff that shifts, but I like to be able to see my seam allowance guide like really clearly. And so I trim. That way I can avoid weirdness while I'm trying to sew. Basted my bottom. I'm going to baste up here again. Making sure to squish my foam. Oh my gosh, if this does not stay under that foot. There we go. I'm so excited to get this thread in the box. This project box comes with the thread, which I love. It comes with all kinds of stuff. But I didn't have any lipstick red in my collection. So I really like the Saya lipstick red thread I got in the project box. Oops. All right. That went through pretty much everything, not the foam as much as I wanted it to, but I think we'll be all right. This is a really sticky foam, and it's never going to peel off here for sure. Okay. So this was the part that confused me. Her pictures, the body color of everything is kind of the same. So she has these peeking out, but it's right next to this image in her pattern. But the directions don't say, now you should have these two individual pieces. It shows this thing and then the next direction about basting. So I was like, why am I going to baste this on here? It makes no sense. So that was just my brain. If you're making this bag and you're having the same issue, that's what was happening. It's all fine. Okay, now we can go back to this, which makes so much more sense. We're going to ease our gusset onto this whole piece. And like I said, I already have the center mark here. And I'm actually going to refold and redo this because I trimmed off my center mark from before in that extra. On the next, you guys have probably all met Hammond before my dog, and their sister. We had one more dog, Elise. She was 17 and she passed away in March, which was really tough, and I still kind of struggle with that. But we have Hammond and we have Kitty Pants. Hammond is a Shiba Inu. He is also of senior age at this point. I think I can never remember how old they are till I sit and do the math. And it doesn't help that none of my animals, including my 17-year-old girl, looked, like an old animal, and they didn't really act like it too much. So I struggle with how old they are. But anyway, at some point, y'all will have to meet him. He's a character. He's a very stoic little dog. He is a Japanese hunting dog, a Shiba Inu, if you know anything about those. They are characters with people that they know, but they are otherwise very, secretive and kind of dismissive of strangers. They often don't like strangers. He doesn't even like having his picture taken. He is such a goober. So, He is a funny little guy. Gail says, I'm missing 2 pieces. Piece B should have had 4 pieces. Yeah, the other 2 pieces are right here. They're my liners. So they look the same, but they don't have the foam on them, but I use the same material. So lining is in the next step. I think that's B that you were talking about. I can't remember what B was. Let me see what was B. Piece B. I have all the pieces sitting here on the floor next to me, and I don't see piece B. It's the one piece of paper I don't have over here with me, which is weird. I thought I had all of them. Either way, I think we got it figured out now, but appreciate the help because I was riding the struggle bus a little bit there, but we got it figured out. Sometimes, especially with a new bag, I mean, I don't typically, one other time in my whole sewing career that I did a bag live that I'd never sewn before, I was getting ballsy. And I thought, oh, I'll pre-cut this bag and then I'll make it. It was, some of you might have tuned into that broadcast. It never got published, but it was live. I said when I was in Arizona earlier this year, let's do some sew-alongs while I'm hanging out at my in-laws. So I pre-cut these bag kits at home many months in advance. And that was a bad idea for a few reasons because, you just forget things and you don't have stuff. And then I was like, oh, I'll sew up this bag. It's a bag stock pattern. I've done a billion bag stock patterns. I can totally just sew this, not a big deal. And I have done a billion bag stock patterns, but I'd never done this particular one. It was new to me. Well, I miscut a piece in the kit, so we got like 8 steps in to the bag. I was so excited to do the sew along, and the bag, I still have the kit. I just need to recut the new piece and fix it. I sewed the wrong piece that I miscut to, like, basically, we were making a very similar panel actually to the front of this with a turn lock on it, and I had just installed the turn lock there on the live. It was beautiful. It's the most beautiful panel I've ever made in my life, y'all. The hardware and the colors are like, it's a blush pink and maroon leopard print bag with faux suede. It is gorgeous. And I still have it sitting in the bag in an unfinished project bag because I need to figure out, this was months ago now, I need to figure out what I did wrong. I remember at the time, but I said, oh, I just made such a colossal mistake. I can't publish this video because if someone follows me, they're going to make the same mistake and then I'll feel terrible. So I just never published the video, but we were on live together. I was like, we're going to reschedule this for another time. And that was like 8 months ago. And yeah, I'm still sad about it because that would have been the most beautiful bag I've probably ever made in my whole career. And I could not believe I did that. And it was just because it was not a hard bag, but I'd never made it before. So anyway, yep, silliness. But it happens. So yeah, usually the only reason I'm even on here doing this is because I already started this bag on the other broadcast with Amanda and Susie, and they had to leave. They were, they're over in California on California time zone. One thing I will say about this foam, the foam itself is kind of draggy, sticky, like vinyl draggy. So my foot, this is on a really long stitch length, but the foot is for sure, it's doing fine and it's not causing any issues, but it's looking more like a 3mm stitch length, even though this is set to a 5. So be aware of that when you use foam. It definitely just is causing a little more friction than normal. My machine doesn't seem to mind, but this, I've used foam obviously before. This sticky foam is a new one for me, and this specific brand and style. So I'm still kind of learning a little. Move that laptop out of the way. I really do like the sticky foam though. You know, some machines do not. It's really chewing on this foam in this corner, hopefully. Get out of here unscathed. Here we go. All right. I've got foam on the bottom, like on the outside against the bed, and I've got foam under the foot here. And while it's okay, I can tell it's a little slow going, and no tension issues or anything like that. Everything is fine. Everything looks good, but I can just kind of feel it. You know what I mean? It's not gliding. I feel like I'm in quicksand a little bit. If I sew slow, it seems to be a little happier versus when I try to give it some gas and then it's like chewing on jerky a little bit. Kind of like that. This bag does have a really fun like construction method and style to it. So I'm just going to turn out this gusset real quick before we start attaching the linings and all that, and make sure I don't have any I haven't even clipped it, so it'll probably lay a little bit nicer when I clip it, but I want to make sure I don't have any super bad, troublesome kind of spots. I do have one little wrinkle. Actually, I have two wrinkles. But if I kind of just massage this the tiniest bit, I don't think they're real wrinkles. I think it's just the stitching. It's not like a real pucker, if that makes sense. It's not sewn in, because if I massage it a little bit, all of a sudden it goes away. So I think for the most part, we're all good to go. Look how pretty. I love glitter canvas. And even though I'm on an industrial, it is a very domestic friendly material, like I was saying earlier. And for those of you who are just now turning in, I showed this bag earlier. This is the same glitter canvas in a purple. And this is a zippy clutch from Bayani. And I quilt canvas a lot. So this is foam with glitter canvas and cotton woven interior, just lightly interfaced, and then cotton woven here, but like foam, and then even the whole wristlet is made out of nothing but triple or quadruple folded, glitter canvas with a little bit of stabilizer inside. This bag has been to Disney and back a million times with me, plus I take it around town sometimes, just when I'm doing like quick errands, and it wears really nicely. I know some people are scared of glitter canvas, that it's not going to wear well. So yeah, it wears really well. Like I've taken this on rides, and I mean, I'm not gentle for sure. And all the corners are wearing like really nicely and have no issues. And it's obviously wipe offable. It's not, waterproof, but like if you were outside and it rained, this is going to just sheet water right off, just like a vinyl. So, really, really like glitter canvas. I would highly encourage you to check that out. All of this glitter canvas, this and this both, they are from Glitterbug Fairy. She's got them in like every color. And so I keep it in my stash just like vinyl. I love glitter canvas. I opted to not quilt this one for time, but also the artwork on it is pretty busy, color wise and stuff. And so I just opted to not, do too much. Let's see. Emily said, I have a Brooklyn Traveler sitting in the corner. The bottom didn't line up at all, and I had to seam rip it off, and I'd already cut the seam allowance, and I don't even know if I should try to fix it. Yeah, they're honestly, in my bag making journey a million years ago, I had some bags like that. Something weird happened, and I was in over my depth to try to fix it, right? Because I didn't even know what happened. I wasn't aware enough, I wasn't experienced enough, and I was just sad, right? I was bummed. So I was like, oh, I'll never be able to fix it. And they sat in the UFP pile for a long time. But then as I got more into my bag making journey, and maybe I even remade that same bag out of something different, it was like, oh, I know what happened. And then the fix was so easy versus trying to struggle through it, especially when you're not feeling it. Then it's like a problem for many reasons. So I say, don't do that. Don't struggle. Just leave it in the pile. Finish it if you want to, when you feel good about it, and you figure out what the fix is. Don't force it, unless like one day you wake up and you're drinking your coffee, you know, and you're like, I want a challenge today. I have those days where I'm like, I am gonna complete that thing that I've never been able to fix. I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm not gonna rest until it's done. You know, when you have one of those days, then do that UFP, because it's gonna be so satisfying and it's gonna be a good win for you. Shut off my heat press. I just realized I left that on. It's over there heating up the corner. It's too hot in here for that. Anyway. Okay, so that's where we're at now. This makes so much more sense. Okay, and so the next situation, I think, let me read through here real quick. Clip together all the way around, easing around the corners as I go. Stitch together. I did that. Snip around the curve. Trim down the seam allowance if you want. Keep bulk out. I think I'll trim my seam allowance after I get my liners on. Repeat steps 2 through 3. That's what we just did on this. To attach the other bag body panel side, the exterior bag is now together. Turn the bag right side out and set it to the side. We'll move on to the lining panels. So, and I've got all those yonder. So yes, we are doing this, and now we need our fancy dancy pocket one. I have yet to put a label on this bag, and I maybe wasn't going to, but I think I am right now since this is still exposed. I'm gonna tuck a label right here, so it'll be on the inside flap. So, and I don't know if I have a cute little bag tag I don't have any Princess Bride themed ones. Y'all know I have a ton of really cute woven tags in the shop, but I don't have any Princess Bride themed, so I should add that to the list. Anybody have any woven tags? Which, by the way, I have a slew of new woven tags on the way, and I'm really excited for them. Where is my double stick tape? There it is. But yeah, I don't have a Princess Bride one, and I love the Princess Bride movie, so I feel like, I should probably get one of those in the shop. I'll have to design some artwork and a saying. There's so many good sayings from Princess Bride. Ooh, I feel like a Miracle Max tag would be really cute. I love Miracle Max. I think Billy Crystal's probably my favorite part of that movie. I kind of like the sassy grandpa too. I'll have to watch Princess Bride again. It's been a while. It's probably been a year or two, to be honest. But if I watch Princess Bride and I get, I don't know, Andre the Giant has some pretty good quotes in that movie too. Buzzet quotes. Oh, I know. I just got an idea. Okay, we're gonna pull up my notes here. I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, I just put it in the notes. Well, I know what I'm working on tonight after dinner. Okay. Well, boo, I wish that I had a woven tag to put in here for that, but for now, I just have a cute little cork label, so we'll do that. Well, darn. So I saved my canvas for this for a Rickroll backpack that I want to do, so I will wait until I get a new Princess Bride tag for the shop. How fun would that be? And then I'll have a fun little woven tag for that. Y'all are gonna have to let me know in a minute if you can still hear me. I'm swapping microphones here. Oh, the main mic might have died too. You guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I think the mic has died. I think I gave up the ghost here. If there's no volume, let me know. Tell me. Well, let's see. Sorry for the shake. Can you guys hear me? Is it back? Did I fix it? Can you hear me? Okay. She said she can hear me. This battery is pretty dead though, so you can hear me because I just unplugged. So hopefully you can hear me. Looks like that works. This mic, I was using it on the other broadcast and I have not charged it in weeks, honestly. I've been a bad technology owner. So we can let that charge up for a few minutes. So yeah, tell me still. Yeah, Cindy says she can hear me still, so hopefully that's the case. Anyway, Cindy said, why does the gusset fabric not have a liner fabric on the other side? I don't know. They haven't told us to do the liner yet. Let me double check on the instructions, but they haven't shown me the liner. The next steps after we repeat this part are the liner. Now onto the lining, make the zipper pocket, which she's having us turn through the zipper pocket. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to turn through the top because I'm not going to do the zipper pocket. And she's got an overlay and all kinds of fancy things in here, but I just am being lazy and don't feel like doing that. I really want to save my other pull. I'm going to do this. I'll show you guys real quick. And now I'm all excited about my new tag that I want to do. So that's going to be super fun. So this comes in the box. And it's also Princess Bride. It's a water resistant canvas and it's a really nice stiff structure. So I think this would make a fabulous Rickroll backpack. And I want to do it with black and this, so it's kind of like more less feminine than like all the pink. And so I'm saving my new Moxie pull to go with it. And then I've got some cool black and white webbings. And actually my black handmade webbing from the shop might be really cool on this too. So I'm saving these things from the box, and now I'm totally gonna wait to do it till I get that new tag. I'll have to obviously draw all of it. This is gonna take me a couple weeks to do the artwork and all that, but I'm really excited now. I had a couple little ideas I just jotted down, so I'm gonna have to turn on the movie and make a tag. But anyway, get this lined up here real quick. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna save it for. A little lower. So it's going to be in the seam allowance and I don't want that. Okay, that'll be better. Getting back to these comments. Yeah, I'm not sure about the liner here, but I'm looking through the directions. Yeah, we don't do the liner. We do all the liner pieces together. So we do these two, which are our liners, and I chose to do the whole body inside with this. So we do these and it looks like maybe it's a drop-in or and maybe it's not a drop-in. I haven't made it that far. I haven't even read through the pattern before making this. It'll be an adventure. But yes, we do the liner. Looks like a couple steps down. So I'm going to scroll back up to where I was at here. So I'm going to attach my tag real quick. I'm glad I remembered to do that. And I think that'll be cute because then you'll open the flap and it'll be right there. It's centered enough. Okay. My machine doesn't seem to care, but I'm getting a teensy bit of that foam buildup on my needle. So I'm going to alcohol wipe that off. I happen to have one right here. This machine will totally keep sewing and doesn't have a problem, but some machines, you know, they get like so upset about the sticky. They like won't sew and they'll start skipping stitches. I mostly just don't want to have a super crusty, dusty, dirty needle. So I just want to get it off now before I have an issue later, I guess. And it took that long to get it all built up, so I think we'll be okay for the rest of the bag. But anyway. Okay, that is taken care of now. Let's re-thread this guy. I think it's raining outside again. Sounds like it's really coming down, which is so exciting. Should be out there with some hot cider on the covered porch. Maybe that's what I'll do after I get out of here before dinner. I'll go sit on the porch and watch the storm a little. I want that thread out of there. There we go. Okay. So I'm sorry. So, Emily said, I bought some of your woven tags and I didn't realize it was from you. Also the neon pink chevron webbing that I love and I need to figure out a project to use it. Yes, that neon pink, and it's neon pink and cream, which is a really interesting color combination. When I got it, I was very excited about it. And yes, all of the woven tags, every single one of them in my shop, all of the artwork is hand drawn by me. I say hand, but I do it digitally. And yeah, they are super fun and I love them and it takes me a while. I have a whole list going of tags. And so if there's ever a tag you guys want to see, by the way, feel free to holler at me and let me know. I always have a zillion ideas, but I love hearing other people's ideas. And in fact, if you guys don't mind taking a little break, I'm going to show you on the laptop screen here. The images are going to come up and be a little weird, but you guys should be able to see. I will show you the batch of the next tags that are on the way, if you want to see them. I'm so bad at keeping secrets. You guys know that. I am so excited for this one. And I know it's late for Halloween, but I'm really, really excited for it. So this is the tag as it is like submitted. And so it'll, it comes with the fold, obviously, right? So I'm really excited for it. Who's a Mean Girls fan out there? Who has seen the movie? So obviously one of them's upside down because this will be the back side. I'm so excited about it. And like, honestly, it took me forever looking at the pictures of Regina George from the movie to get the little ghosts. These are very pixely just because the way it's blown up here. I adore it. It makes me laugh so hard, and his little expression, if you've ever seen Regina in the movie, just trust me, they look very spot on because I had to sit there and look at pictures forever to get the expression correct. And I love the little old, early 2000s, 90s phone in his hand. And I did the artwork text on this one. I hand letter most of the text, not always, but this one I did, and I made it look like the burn book cover. So I'm really excited about that tag. This one I'm also very excited for. This one will probably register with a lot of you. I'm really excited about this one. I'm excited about all of them. I say that about all of them, but I'm especially excited about this one. I think that's going to be really cool. Again, this will be folded to the back, so look how cute. It took me forever to redraw and recreate that little castle. But I think it came out really well, so I'm happy about that. Let me plug in this laptop because it's crying now about being low battery. Oops. Up next. Okay, so this one was a labor of love. It's taken me quite a while. I wanted to have this one done by Halloween. It just did not happen because it's a person, and the people ones like Bob Ross and all the others are really, really detailed. So I present to you your caseworker. Juno took me quite a bit of time, and I'm excited to see how she turns out in person. So this round actually has 2 Beetlejuice tags in it. But yeah, it took a while to obviously get her hair, her wrinkles right, obviously her fatal injury there. Just everything took me, hands take an exceptionally long time for me to draw. But I really like her. I'm very happy about the way that she came out. So that is the Never Trust the Living. And next, we have hopefully something that is familiar to most of you, as it is to me. I love Futurama, so I had to get a Bender tag going on in there. I originally had this tag saying this bag was fun on a bun, but then I decided it would be more fun to have his, signature catchphrase, right? So we went with a bender. And then next, this one also kind of in the vein of Halloween. We have Made for a Silly Goose, and we have another kind of version of that is escaping me at the moment, but did this one. So, because some people, you know, it's just Halloween in their soul all the time. And then we're almost to the end of this one. The second Beetlejuice tag, there's actually another tag in here that I cannot show you guys yet. This one will be really interesting and fun. I hand did all of the striping pattern, obviously hand lettered all of this, hand did the shadow. It says, I myself am strange and unusual, obviously another Beetlejuice reference. So that'll be another fun woven tag. And then lastly, this one has been rolling around for a while. I had to redo this design. Oh gosh. I just realized, okay, hold on, quick Google. I think I might have misspelled something on here. Hold on. Maybe not. Okay, hold on. I'm like, wait. Did I misspell something on here? I'm gonna have to resubmit this. Oh no, okay, I spelled it right. Phew, alright, that kind of made me wig out a little bit. I totally thought I used the wrong word here, and I was like, I need to contact my supplier. Okay, another crisis averted. This one's been rolling around for a while. You guys have probably seen it if you've been around for any amount of time, but I had to redo the design 3 different times to get it to come out right and get the detail correct and all the coloring and shading. So this one, You Belong Among Wildflowers. And I'm really excited for that one. It was one of the first tags I actually ever did, and we couldn't get it quite right to get all the detail and all that stuff. So that will be in this next batch of tags, which I'm hoping will be here soon. So, like I said, there's some super secret ones in here I'm going to close out before I accidentally show somebody something I'm not supposed to. Anyway, okay. Back to it. Back to this bag. I just want to get back into my instructions here. So anyway, speaking of woven tags, that's your little like secret gimme for the night. But yes, that tropical flamingo, like the flamingo pink, it's hot pink. It's not like magenta pink like this. It is neon pink. And I love that webbing so much. It is so bright in person. It was even in photographs, it just doesn't do it justice. I don't think people realize how pink it is. So let me tack on this tag here real quick, and then yeah, we don't have too much more left to go in this bag. And I think honestly, after doing this now, yeah, I could zip one of these out pretty quickly. Cute little crossbody or like a messenger style for sure. That's why we have a lid in the sewing room. Zoom you guys back in though, so you there we go. I have a view of my messy sewing room. So I did already kind of announce this the other day if you tuned into the whole kitchen renovation saga, but I don't know how much more sewing content I'm going to film this year, because at the very beginning of this broadcast, if you make it all the way through this when you rewatch it, I accidentally had the camera flipped the other way, and you could see the absolute mess and pandemonium that is on the other side of that camera right there. That whole wall in this room is being redone. In fact, this entire room is going to get redone. Different furniture, and I think I'm going to keep the paint the same. It's a really light minty green color. You guys know I love my minty green. But I'm going to redo the layout of this room so that we can have a little bit better filming opportunities, so you guys aren't always staring off into like junk on the side. I would like to have a better area to be able to facilitate some different sewing content in here, where we can kind of just like sit and chat instead of having to be at the machine all the time. And yeah, so I'm excited about that, and that's kind of how I plan to spend the winter months. So I haven't quite finished designing the whole room. I've only designed one wall, but I'm going through doing all of the designing, laying it all out digitally so that I can mock it up and make sure all the spacing and everything is going to fit, and then come up with, a budget and all that stuff. What furniture I'm going to use, how I'm going to do all of it, what design elements, and I'm going to film the whole process from start to finish of remaking and reorganizing my sewing studio. So I thought that might be something that y'all would be interested in seeing, because not only is it kind of like, if you like, home makeover kind of stuff, I figured you might also get some inspiration for how to organize or not organize your sewing room, like what works for you versus what works for me. Obviously, I have some different challenges that I'll be navigating through, like I have camera equipment and things suspended from the ceiling, which like a lot of you probably won't be doing. So anyway, yeah. Oh no. Emily said, my phone died right before you were showing the tags, and I was like, no, I want to see. I had to run out and turn on my YouTube app on the TV. Did you make it in time, Emily? Now I have to know, did you make it in time? Oh my gosh. Oh, that makes me feel terrible. That's okay. My phone has died right in the middle of a broadcast, and the worst time that it happened, I literally finished the bag and I was like, who's ready for the big reveal? And I had sat there like birthing the bag for like 10 minutes, and literally right when I slid it into view, my phone died. Like it just died. And we had been on this live broadcast for like 4 hours doing this very convoluted Mav pack with like piping and quilting and all of this. I felt so bad. I felt horrible. It was like the worst cliffhanger. It was kind of funny. You couldn't have written that any better, but like, isn't that just so ironic? Well, I'm glad that you got to see some of them. Hopefully when they come, you enjoy them. The tags always make me, nervous because, I create the art, right? And I've had some, not like bad ones. My manufacturer is really good, and if something's not going to show up or it doesn't look right, they'll tell me. But I'm always so nervous because, it's my art. I draw it. I want it to look good, obviously. I get really excited about the new designs. And, I'm always a little nervous that, like, they're not going to turn out well or right or whatever. Got my tag. Or my label, whatever you want to call it. So, anyway, yeah, I get really nervous. So, the time when I submit them, and then when they're shipping, I'm just like, I'm on eggshells the whole time. Like, oh, when are they going to come? I get so stinking excited to open those boxes. When they send them to me, they're in like these like little white kind of individual boxes, each design. And, they tape one on the side. Well, I purposefully open it and I turn it away from me so I don't have to see the design, because I want to open the box and see how good they look. The very first time I ever got a shipment from them, I realized that, and it kind of spoiled the surprise a little bit. I almost, I don't want to tell them to, how to do their job or anything, but it's like, I almost want to tell them like, no, like, don't do that, So I purposefully open it with those images away from me, and then I have a fun surprise. So, I like to do reveals of those. I'll probably do, a YouTube live when they come so I can show you guys, because I get so excited for those. I have a bunch of actually new stuff on the way for the shop. I think I mentioned this to you guys before. The shop, my shop, emporiumthreads.com. Same as the YouTube handle if you didn't know. We are going to carry so many new things that have started arriving and I have on the way. So we are going to start carrying vinyl all the time, not like pre-order. It is specialty vinyl, but not like I want something that's like really nice that you know you can come get all the time, right? So like it's retail all the time. We'll have it in a bunch of different colors, and so we have 4 different styles of vinyl on the way to us, all really classy, very nice finishes, really nice colors, really good selection of colors. And I will be working on getting matching tapes specifically to go with all of those colors over the next year with various colors of teeth. So they will be exact, matches. And then I am also working on bringing in some new hardware in addition to all the stuff we already carry. I've obviously got new woven labels. We will start, by the end of the year, we will be carrying interfacing in 3 different styles, including a thermo lamb style fusible fleece. So I'm really excited about that. We have tons of webbings coming in, both actually exclusive, like I designed them, they are mine, done with the manufacturer exclusive designs. And then we also have just like some kind of, more, not generic, but like general webbings that we're going to start carrying, along with more printed zipper tape. And then in the next year, in 2024, I have plans to expand, perhaps, I want to see how the end of this year goes, into some custom hardware. So possibly some enamel style, like magnetic snaps and things like that, using, my art and different things that I have going on. So I'm excited about those. We'll see, kind of how that pans out. But I have like a billion products and things on the way here. Some of it already has arrived. And I've been, the little bit that I have gotten to sew and do over here, I have been testing those materials to make sure like I would actually want to carry them, that they're friendly for all types of machines, domestic and otherwise, and just all that good stuff. So I am really stoked about all the things I've got going on, but man, have I been busy. I'm so tired. And it's getting to be that time of year, where it's busy and crazy and holidays and yeah. And then I decided to renovate my kitchen at the same time I'm hosting Thanksgiving and all the craziness. But this year, 2023 has been a really weird year. I hope it's been really good for you guys, truly. Really, I would describe it as a roller coaster year for us, and for me, it has just been like tons of ups, tons of downs, really high highs, really low lows. And kind of nothing in between. Like, it has just been the most unhinged, unreal, weirdest year of my life in a long time. I've had weirder years, but not for like decades. And so that being said, I kind of just thought, at this point I'm sort of punch drunk, like delirious, I feel. And so I'm just swinging for the fences. I'm like, let's just do this. Let's just do that. Let's try it. Who cares? And maybe it'll be a good thing. Maybe it'll be the ultimate, downfall. I have no idea at this point. I am just literally swinging wild. Like, yeah. So we'll see how it goes. At this point, I'm just having fun and, buckling down, doing stuff, getting stuff done. And yeah. And then, next year, the name of the game is kind of going to be more home-based stuff here. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, we're carrying acrylic templates now, have been for quite a while. And I'm slowly expanding that, mostly because every time I announce a new set of templates, this is not a complaint, by the way, but every time I'm like, look what I added, I get like a bajillion orders for said templates. And so I have to be really careful about when I announce them, because I want to make sure you guys still have your super fast fulfillment times from me. And if it's not an opportunity where, I can't drop everything and work on orders kind of a deal, I gotta be careful about when I announce new things, because I'm very appreciative of your guys' enthusiasm, but I gotta make sure I time everything correctly. Hope that makes sense. But I have some new templates in the hopper, and they're just waiting. My process for anything I do, I like to make sure that I test it personally, and if I wouldn't personally use it, I don't sell it. So in the case of templates, I create all of my own template files. The pattern makers don't give those to, well, they don't give them to me. I don't know if they give them to other people, but they don't give them to me. I use the regular pattern files, just like what you guys receive in your digital PDF. when you download, and I create files based off of how like I sew and how I would want them to be. So like the placement lines, the center markers, the you know, the stabilizer cutout lines, and just where the text goes, all of that. Like I sit and do that. It takes a long time. So that's why you don't just see me like putting out templates, you know, pumping out templates like pudding every other week. Because it is, you know, it's a lot of work. I want to make sure this liner stays out of the way. I might actually, I might tuck it into the pocket, but I can't do that. I think it'll be okay. I don't think it's in the way at all. Shouldn't be. Anyway, so I take my time, and when I make templates, I actually make a set for myself first, and then I cut the bag out, and then I sew the bag using the pattern to make sure all of my math and like everything works out well, right? So that's why templates take a long time, but that's also why, you know, so many of you are like, I love my templates, they work so well. You know, because we really do try to, I don't want to sell somebody something that is not correct. I don't want to waste anybody's time or money, you know. I want to be able to feel good about what I'm offering, and that's kind of the only way that I can do that, is by making sure that I test all the materials and all the things. This thread. So that being said, I have new materials, or new templates, I'm sorry, in the hopper, but they will not be ready for a little bit of time yet. So anyway, lots of new stuff going on around here. All good things. But next year we're going to be doing less shows because it is a conference year for my husband. And if you guys have ever met me at a show, you've likely met him too, because he's always there, and I love that. He's super supportive and loves to come to the shows, loves to meet you guys. And he just won't be able to work from home as much and like do as much of that next year. It's a little bit more of a involved schedule for him next year. So we do have a few shows. We are planning, although it has not been finalized, I'm waiting on them to, and actually I just realized I need to do some work on that too, but anyway, I'm waiting on them to finalize, but OSQE in Lakeland, Florida. That is one of them that we'll be doing in spring of next year, so we will be back in Florida, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see all of the Floridians again, and you know, see all the people that we've gotten to know down there and gotten to love through being in Florida. But we will also be in Biloxi, Mississippi in April. And so that is going to be the Everything, EEM is what it's known as, Everything Embroidery Mart. It is specifically a vinyl trade show, really. So they do a ton of stuff with printing, lasering, vinyl, for both embroidery and sewing. Lots of sewing and embroidery related classes. But generally like a pretty good show for anybody who, especially if you kind of dabble in crafts, right? Like you embroider and you sew. So if you do both of those, then, you know, it's a good show for you. But even if you're just into sewing, there will be other notions and stuff there for you. I know Glitterbug Fairy is going to be at Biloxi, as well as myself at Everything Embroidery Mart, and you know she brings a big booth. We will have obviously all this new stuff I'm talking about. We will have all of that there and then some. Obviously all of our hardware and interfacings, new vinyls. I'll have tons more woven tags by then. So yeah, we'll have a really good time at that show. I'm certain of it. And I've driven through Mississippi, but I've never really like been there directly or done a show there. So that'll be a lot of fun. And we're always excited when we go to a new market because, you know, we meet so many fun new people. I met so many fun new people in Tennessee, and we really did have a good time there. The members of the sewing community, the bag making sewing community, I should say, that were there. There was like 5 or 6 of us, and we always had a good time together. It's definitely a fun-loving group, a really fun, supportive, nice group. So that was really quite a balm to the soul after, you know, some of the stuff that's been going on this year. But lots of nice customers too. And then of course, you know, the show staff are really, really sweet as well. Okay, so we've got our bag body exterior done. You guys are zoomed in a little too close. If I can, here we go. Exterior, all done. Boop. And so now we will do the lining. It looks like separate. Yep, and so what they normally have us do, by the way, on this bag, you're doing a zipper pocket. I just didn't wanna, so I'm abandoning it, and I'm just gonna turn through a top here when I'm top stitching. That'll be easy enough. I'll show you guys how to do that if you've never done it before. Then that'll be a new thing for you to discover and try. It's not hard. Some people get intimidated by it. It's a lot the same as leaving an opening in the bottom lining to turn. However, it's actually a little easier to do it in the top as long as the opening of the bag will allow it. You know, each pattern is a little different, but if you can do it, I do suggest it. It works pretty well. So in this case, I'm going to be doing that. So I'm skipping past the next steps in the liner, but normally they would have you turning through the bottom of this pocket. And I don't prefer to do that anyway, for a few reasons, but yeah, and the big reason why I'm going to avoid it today. So Cindy asked this question. She said, when are you going to do another show of your kitchen? My husband thought I was a little nuts because he was like, do you think they're going to like want to see that? And I was like, well, I don't know. They don't have to watch it if they don't want to. But I just figured I would tell you guys what I've been up to because I haven't been shooting much content, for sewing. And sometimes, like, I'll be honest with you, my sewing business and YouTube and like, and shows and all of this has totally taken over my life for the last year. I've kind of like, not really neglected, but like I haven't done any of the stuff I needed to do, like painting and dealing with my kitchen. It's been a long time coming, and for 3 years when we moved into this house, we just threw everything in here and I just kind of organized as I went. And it's like, I never really organized my kitchen. You know, I never really like decluttered when we moved because it was COVID. So you couldn't have a garage sale at that time. Nobody would go. You couldn't even, the donation places were closed. Like there was nothing. So when we moved, I didn't get to do anything that I would normally do in moving. That being said, the reason I bring this up in the kitchen thing that she asked, I don't want to turn through a smaller hole right now because my wrist, from painting and all this renovation stuff I've been doing, oh my gosh, it's not killing me, but I've been putting Asper cream on it, like arthritis, because I've got a lot of puffy up here and puffy through here that I can feel. And then earlier, prior to this broadcast, I had like a compression sleeve on, and I'm going to put that back on when I get off. And that helps a lot. And that's from constantly clenching my hand on either the paint roller or the paint scraper. These actions are hurting like my thumb and like my wrist here. And I can see my knuckles are a little puffy. So that's another reason why I'm like, I'm going to skip the zipper pocket today. And I don't want to try to burr through that small hole. I'm going to do it through the top, and that's going to be easier. So anyway, since she asked that question about the kitchen, War of Thunder. Ah, yes, the kitchen. I'm really excited that my husband was like, people are here for sewing stuff, and I was like, well, kind of, but like they're also, I don't know. I think like once you get to know somebody, like this sounds weird, but like I just feel like we're all, buddies, like we're all friends. I'm totally interested. I talk to so many of you guys over PM and like email and stuff when you tell me things. Like I'm invested. I want to know. I'm like, how did your kid do at their ballet recital? How did that baseball championship go? Did they win? Like I know stuff about you guys. And so at the same time, like I don't mind, sharing to a certain extent, and I haven't been shooting a lot of content. Not as much as I want to because I'm finally getting some stuff done around my house. I needed to have a little season of that. And conversely, I've lost just like the tiniest bit of my sojo. Not a lot of it, just a little bit. And so I needed to like back away from sewing a little bit and focus more on business stuff. I've been having a ton of fun drawing and doing art for the tags and stickers and working on all this new stuff that I just told you guys about. I'm the one who does all that. If I don't do it, it doesn't get done. So that being said, you know, I got to be working on something. And if I'm working on content, then I'm not working on product. If I'm working on, you know, product, then I can't work on content. And if I'm working on the business, I can't work on personal because it's just me. So, that's all fine and great. Not a problem. But, you know, yeah, something's got to give, right? And so there's only so many hours in a day, only so many spoons, you know, to get done with. And, yeah, you know, that's life. So anyway, she brings up the kitchen. If you guys didn't see, there's a video, on here titled, What I've Been Doing, Nothing to Do with Sewing. And, by the way, I'm adding my gusset and my lining. You guys asked about that earlier, so I'm doing that now. And I'm not even going to ease it in beforehand because this is just the one side. So I'm going to just sew it and we're going to see how it goes. This should be pretty. There's a little extra length here on the gusset. I'm not super concerned. I think we'll be okay. But anyway, yes, the kitchen is going. It's not gone as far as I wanted it to. I am waiting on like so many dumb things. I had to order some stuff. And the other thing is scraping all of that. I showed you guys all the gloopy, caulky, molding and mess and all of that. It has taken a tremendous amount of time and effort, more than I kind of budgeted for, to get it off. But I really don't want to cut corners this time around because I don't want, you know, that's the whole reason of doing the kitchen, right? Like, it's to fix all of this grody work that was done and looks terrible. So I'm taking my time, but I didn't really plan for this to take me this much time. So most of what I've been doing right now is just prep work. I did start painting the cabinetry and like some other things, and let me tell you, it looks amazing, but I haven't really done enough to like do an official another video, right? Like, there's not enough there. I see a big difference, but it's all prep stuff. It's like I was sitting here scrubbing cabinetry and then you know, sanding and just scraping and all that. So I haven't really done enough to show you guys much of anything because I don't think you would notice that big of a difference. And everything's all taped off in plastic now, and just, you know how you do in a renovation. So soon, and I'm glad to hear you guys are actually interested, because my husband was like, look, do you, like, if they like it, but they might come for your head that they're here for sewing stuff and they may not be interested. And I'm like, okay, well, they may not be. Obviously I want to keep you guys interested, but you know, not everything can be sewing, right? Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't know. Like, I love sewing, I really do, but not every single thing in the world can just be sewing. What I'm gonna do on this. Find my center on this gusset. I didn't do it at the beginning, and there's enough play on this gusset, and it's easing in really nicely on all the pieces, so I think we're probably okay, but why not? Might as well do all the things. Might as well do all the things. All right. Loop right sides together on this lining. As I say, normally you'd have a pocket and all kinds of other stuff. This is also not, I mean, this is the whole liner of this bag, right? It is not very big. So I'm like, we already got a zipper pocket and a slip pocket on the outside. I don't need any more pockets. 3 to like 4 pockets. I mean, even for personal use, I don't want that many pockets. But if it's for a customer and they're like, yeah, I want all 19,000 of those pockets, but like, I often cut pockets out of bags. It adds a lot of time, materials, money, all that. And, you know, I've just learned, especially in all my time sewing, people don't know what they're missing. So I'm not saying make like a bad, you know, bag, but if it's got 12 pockets and you only offer a bag with 7 pockets for sale, they're not going to be like, oh, well, I know this bag could have more pockets. That's never happened in the history of me selling a bag. They typically just look at the craftsmanship, they look at the art, they see if it meets their basic needs, and then they buy it or they don't. I mean, nobody's looking at it going, oh, well, you know, I saw this same bag somewhere else and it had more pockets. And if they did, then, you know, cool, Godspeed, go buy it. And then, you know, when they're custom, I will often strip down, like, my pricing to be like, oh, well, this bag normally came with 20 pockets, but I'd have to charge, you know, $200. So instead, I offer the base bag with like 3 pockets. And then if you want to add more pockets, I can do that. And I just charge you like $8 to $12 per pocket. And you pick what you want. It's like, oh, I really need an exterior pocket for my phone. Okay, we can do that. And you tell me where, you know, if it's possible, obviously. But you tell me where you want me to put it and how big you need it, and we make it work. That's how I typically treat customs. So just a word for y'all out there who are trying to learn about sewing to sell and the business and all that. Don't push yourself to, if a pattern comes with 7 zippered pockets, you don't have to do all of them. And I hardly ever do. Because sometimes it's just too much. And again, I've never had a customer be like, well, I should have had more pockets. If they want more pockets, they'll order, you know, a custom thing and get more pockets. So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk about pockets. Yeah, I expect, as far as the kitchen goes, I will probably show you guys another update in, at this pace, a week, something like. It'll probably be an early morning update when I'm having my coffee, and we'll have coffee in the kitchen together. I'm shopping for backsplash right now, trying to figure out what I want to do. I love classic subway tile, like just plain subway tile. I've always loved it. I've had it in a couple of different kitchens, and I just love it. It's so timeless, and the thing about paint is you can change paint. Paint is a pain, but it's pretty easy. You cannot easily change a backsplash, not like real mortar grout backsplash. That requires typically replacement of the drywall, because when you try to take it down, I've never been able to get it down, even a bad tile job, without damaging the drywall and having to do like major repair or just replace. So yeah, I am pretty choosy about my backsplash. I don't want to do anything splashy in my kitchen either, because I went bold with the paint and dark with the paint, and I don't want it to be overwhelming. But I'm just kind of looking at it right now and living with it, the paint that I've done, and I love it, but I'm kind of thinking I need to have a backsplash with some texture. Not pattern necessarily, but texture. So I'm looking for like white, tone on tone, kind of textured something. And I don't know what that something is yet. And I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know what. I found a tile that I thought I liked. I showed my husband. He was like, oh no, I hate it. But honestly, 1, he doesn't really care. And 2, he doesn't really know. He just doesn't like anything that's, if it looks like it might be too wild and crazy, he's like, nope, I'm not into it. But then a lot of times I go with my gut and I just do stuff, and then he's like, oh my god, I love it so much. So, we'll have to see what I pick. I want this kitchen, I don't even know what feel I'm really going for. I mean, I do, but I don't know the name for it. So I think I'm just going to keep looking around and I'll know it when I see it. Sort of how I feel. Because I'm really bummed I didn't have a Princess Bride tag to tuck into this. Like, I'm actually really bummed. It would have been super cute. I would have put it right there in the seam. Cindy says, I do all the repairs and home improvements here at my house, getting ready to do rain downspouts. Oh, I am very glad this house came with gutters, but I will tell you, we had a front bed installed, like a raised bed, and not raised, like, I mean, it is raised, but anyway, it's got a brick edge, to keep it from washing out in the rain all the time and to keep the grass from creeping up into it all the time. But right where they put it, the gutter was right there, so they had to cut my gutter off, so right now it's just coming down and then just, like, going nowhere. There's no direction to the spout, and I gotta call somebody and, like, figure out how to get that fixed, because I don't know where to get the color of gutters that we have, or, like, the size or anything like that. They don't carry it at Home Depot or Lowe's, so I don't know. I wonder if I can just, is that a thing? Can you just, like, go online and order? I need, like, an L shape, like a 10 or 12 inch 90 degree, like, gutter, you know, downspout, like a metal one. And I don't know where to get that. And the problem is, out here in this area, it is, like, the worst trying to find anybody to do anything. Yeah. I can't just, like, call a company and be like, hey, gutter man, like, can you come do this and I will pay you? Because, like, they'll never show up, and they don't even answer the phone when you call. And when they do show up, then they never come back. Like, I don't know. It's a mess out here. Because the problem when you live in the sticks, I'm not in the major city, so, like, your choices, you have, like, 3 choices, the 3 guys who are out here. And if they don't feel like doing anything, they're just not gonna. And we learned that with, like, basically every service out here. Sprinklers, landscaping, plumbing stuff, appliance repair. Like, they're just, most people won't come all the way out here. I had great services in Dallas, and, you know, there's 2 million plus people in the little neighborhood area I used to live in, so there were tons of choices. Now, you know, I'm kind of, it's like, well, you get what you get. Let's see, I gotta turn my exterior bag right side out and my lining wrong side out, which it already is. Because I'm birthing this in a different way, I don't think it really matters, but I'm just gonna follow along anyway. I don't think it really, I think technically, let me see. I think I can just tuck this flap in, tuck these D-rings really far out of the way, or rectangle rings I mean, and I actually think to avoid turning this bag right side out twice, I can actually just do it this way. Because I'm not birthing through the pocket and all that stuff. I don't think I need to go through the shenaniganery of all of that. And yes, I feel you, Cindy, when you say I do all the repairs. I do all the repairs unless it's something like I gotta call, you know, someone for. Like I need big machinery or something. And it's not like I don't do big machinery. At our last house, I rented 2 different tractors and a skid steer and taught myself how to drive them. That was really fun. But I, you know, like sometimes you, like the countertop, for instance, I couldn't take off that huge island countertop and do that sink and all that myself because I don't have the strength, and it took like a team of 10 people, and I obviously don't have a gigantic saw to fabricate quartz, so, or, you know, fabricate the quartz edge and all that. Okay, and one thing I want to do really quick, this is something that I do a lot on bags with gussets. Sometimes the gussets don't line all the way up, and this material did stretch a little bit, so I kind of eyeball it and see, like, what I need to trim off. I don't just go trimming willy-nilly. I actually eyeball it and look at what needs to be even, and sometimes I don't trim all of it off. I only trim off some of it, because some of it gets hidden in the seam allowance, right? So sometimes you don't want to trim the whole thing off and go nuts. So make sure you eyeball it, and then I will actually look from left to right on the big panels and see if I need to lay the whole thing down and trim it if it's not like sitting super even. This one looks like it's really even, and I just wanted to trim those off, so now I'm gonna tuck this lining in here. I need to remember to leave myself a space because I'm birthing through the lining, and I think I'm gonna do it right here on this part under the flap on the back panel. Well, do I want to do it on the back panel? I'm actually gonna do it on the front panel, so that's where I'm gonna leave my spot. I don't want to do it on the back panel because when this flap is forward, there's nothing to like, well, okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me see here. When this flap is forward. Oh, I'll actually do it on the back panel because let's pretend for a minute the whole bag is right side out. This is what I was thinking. There is something to kind of hide this here. So the whole bag would be turned right side out. This doesn't really ever get exposed back here. Not unless you're like all in the pocket. So, okay, I'm cool with that. All right, let's stuff this back inside so we don't want to sew that in. All right, and then let's clip our liner. And I'm going to match up the 4 seams first. This is pretty thin material, so I'm not going to bother like trying to nest it open or any of that. I'm okay on the industrial, but if you're on a domestic, definitely consider nesting your material and your corners here like you would if you're making a quilt, right? Yeah, Cindy, they do have those plastic downspouts, but they cut off, when they did that border, they cut off my gutter, the metal gutter, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 feet up. And so I really need like, I don't know. It's right on the front of the house, right next to the front door. And, it's like right on the walkway and everything. I don't really want to have plastic there if I can avoid it. I mean, that's a good solution until I can find like a gutter company, but I got to imagine there's somewhere I can go online. Everything is online, you know, like there's always a thing online. I bet you I can order a metal piece because they left the bracket attached to my house. It's like a little metal bracket like this. So you just stick the thing in here, wrap the bracket around and put a screw in. And so I have all that. I just need an amended piece. Honestly, I have to imagine at some point there's a gutter shop around here that I can get a hold of, even if I drive my happy butt into Dallas and say, hey, gutter man, I need this. Can someone make it for me real quick and I'll just take it with me? Because I don't really need an installer for that. The one side of this lining seems to be really taut, but I may need to skim some of this lining off. I did not grade the seam allowance, and honestly, I wasn't paying attention. I don't see if she asked us to. She probably did. I almost always, it doesn't actually say to grade the lining anywhere, but I almost always do. But just a rule of thumb, I don't like a baggy lining ever. It bugs me, and I don't like it. So I almost always grade my lining. I don't think I need to here, but I usually do. So we'll see once I've made this pattern one time, I'll know like, yep, I'm gonna grade that lining. Some pattern companies are really religious about telling you like, grade the lining. And then others of them never ever tell you, but I almost always do anyway, because I really hate a saggy lining. I think this will be okay, but $20 says I'm gonna get to the end of this bag and say I should have graded it. So what I'm going to do to make sure I leave myself the hole, which I want it on this side, I'm going to just leave a spacing in the clips. Right there. So we're going to start and finish right there, and I'm going to leave that hole, and then I'll turn it, I'll top stitch it, and we'll be all done. I have to decide on a strap for this. The project did come with webbing, but I don't know if I want a 1-inch wide strap on this. I haven't decided. So we'll see. We will see. And then let me see if she wants, nope, we're doing 1/4-inch seam allowance for the whole top, and then we'll top stitch at like an 1/8 as well. I gotta be honest, for how low energy I am and how much of like a lazy whatever I am having, this was a good sew, because my brain is only at like 20% operation whatever at the moment. So this is pretty good. This is a very not convoluted sew, and I these days appreciate and enjoy that so much more. In my previous bag making stuff, whatever you want to call that, I really liked the super challenging whatever project, and I still do occasionally. When I moved this bag, my lining kind of popped up. There we go. But I don't get that much time to sew anymore. And if it makes me like sigh a lot and pull my hair out and get frustrated and all that, I just don't enjoy it as much anymore. So I try to avoid that, because I only get so much time to sew. Sorry, you guys are getting like the butt end of this video, on this bag, but that's what happens. Definitely make sure that when you tuck all this in and you do this, your rectangle rings are out of the way, because they are, you know, if they're tucked, they're okay, but if they are not tucked, you're going to break a needle and you're going to have a bad time, since your hardware's already pre-attached on that side gusset. Be careful. Okay, we're almost the whole way around, and then I'm going to stop right after my little clippy clip. This is pretty easy turning material, so I did not leave myself a super huge hole. I've only got one zipper pocket, and like, I think I'll be okay. I did not top stitch super well, or back stitch I mean, on the one side right here. So I'm just going to tuck another couple stitches, because doesn't matter what I'm birthing, I almost always seem to pop the stitches out my philosophy is that if you're going to be rough with a bag, do it while you're turning it, because then you're going to know how it's going to hold up. I don't think there's ever a process or like ownership of a bag that will be more brutal than turning the bag, right? That's how I feel. So I just think if you're ever going to be like rough on a bag, do it while you're turning it. And then, you know what I mean? Like, you know, before I do that though, I'm going to take a quick peek at my seams. I often don't trim mine, but I think I might trim just these corners, because it's a pretty tight, corner and gusset, and I don't want my corners to not turn out nice. So I'm not going to trim a whole ton. Careful not to trim, you know, trim into your stitches there. But if I trim just a skosh off of each one of these corners, these rounded corners, they'll lay really nice. And you could pink them, but again, I don't really bother. I have good pinking shears. I think somebody in the comments earlier said, oh, my pinking shears are not new, they're old, and, you know, whatever. I have a couple of new pairs, but they just are not made to pink, you know, all of this. They get kind of like hung up on like lots of stuff, and like lots of layers, vinyl and all that, and mine are good quality, but it's just when the bags are thick, man, those pinking shears are like, it just hurts my hand to get through all of it. So it's like munching away trying to, you know, mow a lawn with scissors. Like, you're just like cutting forever. So yeah, I tend to try to not do that. And then I just made an ugly little sharp corner, so I'm just gonna trim that off. Okay, hopefully we didn't clip anything important. This foam made it a little difficult to see. All right, so now that I trimmed that out, probably wasn't necessary. Ooh. I got close on some of these stitches, so this foam made it incredibly hard to see, and I left myself like millimeters. Ooh, well, hopefully these stitches hold. I don't think I trimmed any actual stitches. That one's okay. But on those two on the other side, I got close. There's lots of interfacing here, so like I said, if you're ever going to be rough on a bag, now's the time to do it, because you'll know and you can fix it. Hi. I am so excited. Summer is over. I am ready for personal fall. And what I mean by that is I saw someone the other day who was talking about losing their sojo and not, you know, feeling super creative and just like wondering if other people feel that way. The answer is yes. Lots of us feel that way, especially if you've had a particularly hard year, you've dealt with trauma, death, you know, stuff at work, just whatever, financial issues. This year has been particularly hard. Obviously, I know you guys are not a stranger to all the things we've been dealing with, inflation and everything else. This year has been something else, and you cannot always be in perpetual spring. Just like nature, you have to have time to regroup. And so what does nature do? It closes down, it starts to shed all those leaves, all that stuff that it did, and that's what allows for growth. If it didn't do that, if trees and flowers and plants and grass and all those things didn't take time to die back, to close up, to pull themselves in and store up energy and come back renewed and recharged, that's how they grow the next season, right? So they spend the fall shaking off, retaining good things, shaking off the bad things, shedding the old, making room for the new, and then they spend winter hibernating, closing up, and, really pulling close to themselves and doing whatever it is that they need to do. In my case, it's fixing my kitchen and writing some stuff around my house and, all of that. But in your case, it might be something different. And in nature's case, it's something different. So, we need to do that. We cannot always be in perpetual spring. If you are trying to be in perpetual spring all the time, that's how you get burnout. Cindy said, I thought you were going to sew it at an 1/8 seam. No, I just sewed it at the normal 1/4 inch because that's what we're using on the top. We're not changing that. We'll do an 1/8 inch top stitch. We're doing 1/4 inch seam allowances everywhere on this bag. Well, at least that's what I'm doing. I don't know. That's what she says. So around the top at a 1/4 inch. Just stitch it into place so it seems like everything is a 1/4 inch. I've got to get this bag. I maybe didn't leave myself a big enough hole, but it's also fine if I got to go back and deal with it. I'll deal with it. I hate crunching up a bag to turn it, no matter how you're turning it. It always makes me nervous. Ugh. The one thing I will say, this bag is constructed with this vinyl around the gusset, which is a really cool feature. But it does make this gusset a little tougher to nuance through here. So I might get this flap through first and get it out of the way. And then see if that makes this any better. And I already got the liner out. Got it out of the way. So now we just have to turn the main bag body through here. Oh my goodness. This is not made any easier by the fact that my wrist is not super happy, so I'm glad I didn't opt to turn through the smaller hole because there's just no way. There's just no way. We'll get it. I don't know if you guys do this too. I rotate my bags. Do you notice that? I rotate it in a circle as I'm going. I don't know why. I don't actually think it helps. But I do. I also tend to eat round food like that, like hamburgers. I slowly eat around the outside and donuts and stuff like that. And I don't really know why I do it. I just do. But anytime anything is in a blob like this or a round shape, I totally go all around the outside. Isn't that funny? I don't know if other people do that when you birth a bag, but I just like to turn it a little bit and I don't know. I might actually use a little bit of this flap to kind of yank this through too. I do that a lot. Ugh. Come on, buddy. Ugh. I also am known to like put it on the table and squash it in the round. Oh my goodness. I can't even see like what I am supposed to be doing at this point. I might have to like push some of this back in because I think I kind of lost my way. What is happening here? I can't figure out what's supposed to go where. Okay, I think this is the back panel right here. And I think if I get this through, I mean, this really should be a big enough hole. This is not a super small hole. And it's bigger than what the interior pocket hole would have been. Why is this not coming out of here? I might have to rip some of these stitches, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out of there. Come on. And like I was saying earlier too, this is a pretty soft otter text, you know? So this waterproof canvas is pretty soft. I can't imagine if this was tougher. Ugh. I think what's making it the most difficult is the webbing on the gusset. So I guess, and this is pretty stiff webbing. I suppose when you're making this, maybe take that into consideration. I'm having like the hardest time. Oh, I take like a quick break. I'm having the hardest time getting this through here. It's right there. It's right on the cusp. Ugh, this is like one of the worst ones I've had in a while, which is so funny. This is such a small bag. I'll try going from the other side and getting this zipper part through first. Ugh. Come on, dude. Ugh. I almost feel like I don't know, like caught on something. And, I don't know, this is just strange. Ugh. Okay, I have like part of this through here. Good golly. I do think that the stiff webbing is maybe what's causing the problem. It's kind of hung up on the pocket right there, if you can see that. And so I think if I work, and my grip strength is, oh, my poor little hand is not happy. But I think maybe that's part of it. I mean, these materials should hold up, but I really hope they do because I am really yanking on this thing, and that's going to be a mega bummer to get all the way to the end and then be like, oh, well, it ripped. It shouldn't, but I guess you never know. Okay, I think, oh, come on. I think it's the webbing that's causing the problem because they've gotten a bit more of it out, but like, good grief. That is a tough cookie. It doesn't want to bend. It's pretty stiff webbing, and it's kind of caught in the middle here, and it does not want to pull out. Just the way I probably could have like nuanced this out a little better. But like all the webbing is trapped right there in a ball. Oh my goodness. Success. Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. Yeah, so that was my problem. It was like crunched in the middle and pushed in there, and yeah, that was no good. Whew. Good grief. That was a ton of effort. I was not expecting that. And by the way, you could probably just attach the handles differently if you wanted. The little rectangle rings on the side there, and not do the webbing around the bottom and just do connectors, you know, like normal. Or, I mean, not normal, not this isn't normal, but you know what I mean, like the typical. Good grief, this thing is going to need a good press out after that. It got some rankles. Being balled up for so long, but that's okay. We'll mess with it a little. So this is what I ended up doing. You know, it's all sewn around the front. We'll top stitch now. But this is where I left the hole in the back because let's pretend this liner was all shoved in here. When the bag is closed, you know, we'll sew up this hole back here, but you'll see there'll be like a little bit of a seam. Not much, but a little bit of one. So that being said, now I'm going to work on clipping and tucking my liner all the way around so we can get ready to top stitch. And then I'll obviously do it off camera, but I'm going to give this a good going over with my mini iron and Teflon sheet. Just because it got a little wrinkled. So, and then my last part, after it's no longer wrinkly, I will press and do my female or the male side of the magnetic snap on the flap. But I want to make sure the whole thing is not wrinkled, it's top stitched, and everything is all good. I will say I absolutely feel like I would have graded the lining 100% because I don't know if you can really see in there very well, but I've got quite a bit of extra. So I always grade the lining. If the pattern doesn't tell me to, I do it anyway. Just cause. So yeah, I regret not doing that, but I'm not going to turn this bag right side out. Not for that. This is my first time making it. So, you know, once you get the lay of the land, the next one is always different. You make different choices. I still like my materials that I used. I like the foam. I don't know what I would have done with the gusset, if I would have changed it at all, or if I would have used foam in the gusset still. I think I like it. But yeah, I would have graded probably a 1/2 inch off this lining. So anytime, the good rule of thumb for me is anytime the bag pattern says like this main body piece cut to lining cut to, and it's the same pattern piece, always grade the lining. This one is like that. It says cut, you know, 4, 2 of the lining, 2 of like the main body and interface or whatever. And so I just for sure would have, you know, I should have, and I always second guess myself. I've been doing this long enough that like I know better, but I never like to deviate too much on a first time pattern because I'm always concerned that like you don't want to get that know-it-all-itis situation going on, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, I've made so many bags, I know exactly, you know. I like to still kind of try to stick to the pattern a little bit and try to learn something new, but this is definitely one of those cases, and I kind of knew this is where I was headed, but now I know for certain next time, and I don't have to guess. So the only thing you have to do when you're closing up a gap like this is make sure that you're pulling it, you know, taut the right way, and you are closing everything appropriately and lining it up straight, because now this becomes your top seam where we left the hole. And that's why I did it on the back instead of the front, because it only gets exposed back there when the bag is open. When it's closed, I didn't want it right here on the front. So yeah, that lining is pretty baggy. I don't know if you guys can see that. Definitely grade the lining. Cindy says she pre-ordered herself the new mini Oliso iron. That's cool. I didn't realize they had did they not have a mini before, I guess is the question. Is that what's new, or is it a new version of their same mini iron? That's the question. I'm gonna work on training these corners a little better once this whole thing is top stitched. Oh, I really don't like how baggy this lining is, but that's okay. But yeah, there is a lot of extra in here, like a lot. Ooh, it really bums me out. The only other thing, and she does say that you can use foam interfacing in here, and the foam should not have eaten, I mean, the foam would not leave this much baggy in here. There's quite a bit in the bottom. Almost wish I had turned through the bottom instead on the gusset, but I don't like turning on a small gusset because then I could tuck it in there. Yeah, that's about as good as I can get it, and there is quite a lot in there, like a solid, if I grab it, I mean, it's hard for you guys to see, but if I grab it, I mean, it's a solid like 1.5 inches sticking up in the bottom. It needed to be graded. When will I stop second guessing myself? All right, well, we're gonna top stitch it because that's the conclusion of all of this. I am gonna start from the back where that opening is at. Just pick a side. Oops, I came unthreaded. Gotta rethread our needle. I cannot remember when the last time was I changed the needle on this machine, y'all. I really only change my needle when I have issues, and the semi-industrial is the only one that like kind of has, like, I can tell like, oh, it's time for a fresh needle. This one and my domestic both, I'll break the needle before I ever have to change it. Like, I'll go forever and ever and ever until it breaks, and then I finally get a new one. So, I want to swap feet really quick. I don't want this foot because I would have to have everything on the inside throat space here, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to use my ridiculously long screwdriver because it's the only one I can find. And I'm actually just going to switch to like a regular, my other zipper foot is in the other room on the semi-industrial, and I don't feel like going and getting it. So we'll just swap out to this. Oops. We'll swap out to this, my regular, just like so all compensating, but same trick applies though for the top stitching. For something like this ridiculously long screwdriver doesn't work that great. It's fumbly. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm glad I just reached the end of this because I am all of a sudden yawning. I like reached the threshold. It's time for dinner, and then I am gonna go sit and draw new art for a tag. A couple of Princess Bride tags, actually. I'm really excited about that. All right, top stitching, 1/8 of an inch. I thought this sounded weird. What just happened? Nothing. Okay. I was gonna say, I think I ran out of bobbin thread. I shouldn't have, and I don't think I did. I thought I did for like a hot second. I don't think I actually did. Nope, we're good. Okay. I was about to be real annoyed. Almost to the end here. Use a little hump jumper on that little seam though. Probably don't need to, but I like to anyway. Got a little needle strike there. A little strike on the plate. Okay. Even that doesn't break the needle on this thing. I'm telling you, this thing is such a beast. Beastie. Okay, and now we're back on the back side where we clip that. Making sure my flap is well out of the way, and it is. Okay. I purposefully stopped and started on a section that was in like the red and the orange part, so that this blends really nice. Cindy said, what if you just take some of the bottom seam out of the lining? Yeah, I probably could have. It would have been easy enough to turn the lining, but it's fine. It's not the worst. I just don't like a baggy lining. But yes, that would have been a good solution. I'm just tired at this point, but to avoid it, I would just say, and maybe once I train these corners out, you can see they're rolling a little bit. Maybe once I train those out a little bit, it'll be 10 to 15% better. It's not the worst. I have come to a point in my bag making situation where I really appreciate a bound lining. I don't mind binding, and I've gotten actually pretty good at it. I find it therapeutic a little bit, like cathartic, in a way. And on top of that, you always have a super nice lining, but additionally, I actually really like a drop-in lining. I'm no longer afraid of those. They're easy to maneuver. They're a little finicky, but not any less finicky than it was to turn this bag inside out. So there are options. And in this case, with this lining, that would have been a good option to just pop some of it back through, and it wouldn't have been perfect. But if I had just graded the seam allowance, I know better. I've done this for long enough. You start at the top at 1/4 inch, and then about, I say 3/4 inch down, I would have graded about 1/2 inch all the way around the bottom in here, and that would have literally been perfect. I would have had such a perfect, tight, nice lining. So, again, I know better. I've done this long enough. Like I said, your key thing to look for in any pattern, I don't care who the designer is, if when you're cutting the pieces, they have you cut the main line, like they had us cut this like main piece right here, not the pocket, but this piece. They just had us cut 4 of these, and it says cut 2 of the lining, cut 2 of the main body. They're the same size. If they're the same size, the lining pieces must be graded. If you're cutting them as separate pieces, like the designer gives you 2 separate pieces, then typically they've already shrunk the lining pieces and done all that math for you. In this case, it wasn't, done for us. We were cutting 4 of the same piece. I should have known better to grade. And I just, like I said, I've never made this bag before. I second guessed myself. And so I was like, oh no, it'll be fine. And it is, it's not horrible, but I just don't love that. So anyway, but this, get out of there, is where we are at. I need to snug my lining down here and give it all like a good press and a good training and all of that. I do also wish the printing on this panel had been a little lower. This was the absolute lowest that I could cut this panel. So I would have loved to have seen, like, the top literally is right where I cut it. I would have loved to have seen this like a couple inches down so that it was right here, and the As You Wish hit right there, but they were trying to make room for the turn lock that would normally be right here. So, you know, not a big deal. And I will end up having my little magnetic snap. I think if I were to, so the difference in this pattern, and just something to be aware if you're going to make one, I do really like the pattern. This back here ends up being another slip pocket, which is a cool idea. But this is all one big piece that you cut. I don't super care for that because I would have liked this to have more structure, my flap. And I didn't want to put foam in here because then I would have had foam on foam with this main body and this piece. So I would have liked the underside of this to be vinyl or something else because it's a little floppy, even though this is interfaced and this is waterproof canvas. So just be aware of that when you're choosing your materials, the way that it's kind of like cut. If I were to go forward with this and design it in a, you know, design all my materials together in a different way, I would have picked the same materials but used them a little bit differently, and I probably would have opted, like I said, to keep this panel. Maybe I would have done what Amanda on the last live when she finished hers. She actually put the graphic in here, and maybe it would have fit better because I hate that I'm basically just seeing like feet and text, because this wants to sit really right about like that with the foam and everything, how it's sewn, and the magnet is right there. So, and if this had any more structure in it, by the way, the flap, I wouldn't have, you know, I would be like really pulling it down and it would feel like scrunched and squished. So I don't necessarily think this is bad, but this is the lowest you could possibly cut the panel. The top piece was at the very tip top of this fabric. There was nothing left. So just keep that in mind. If I kind of had designed like my materials, I would have maybe spliced a piece of vinyl here and then done my panel and cut it, and I would have just had a seam right here, which I think would have actually looked pretty cool. So there are different kind of ways to get around it, but all that to say, I really did enjoy this project box. I liked it. Love the lipstick red color that comes in it. It's a nice bright, you know, Christmas red, and oops, messed my thread up there. And I did really like, you know, all the hardware. Like I said, I'm saving it for the other one. I don't know where it went, but that pull with the canvas right here from New Moxie, the canvas that was provided, this was supposed to be the lining for this, but I just wanted an all pink bag that really kind of showcased more of the artwork colors, and I felt like these two together were kind of a lot, but I think this is going to make a fabulous backpack along with this pull, which I really, really, really enjoy. And I want this pull to be like the focal point of a bag. It deserves to be the focal point. And I just feel like with this art, it's really cute. I love all of it, but I don't personally like busy. I like to, you know, how would I say this? I don't like competing like colors and textures, and it's too much for me. So I love all of these elements together. I really like, you know, this style of artwork together, this style of artwork kind of separately. And I think that the silhouettes here go really nicely with all of that. So anyway, I am really, really happy with how it's turned out. I'm going to give it a press. Once I'm finished pressing it, I'll do my magnetic rivet snap on there. And then we'll just have one little snap right there in the front, and then I'll decide on a strap. But overall, I think once it's all trained up, just gotta get that thread out of there. Once these corners are all turned overnight with some clips, I think it'll be sitting a little happier too. Gotta train those corners out. But anyway, let's see, just the last couple comments here before I hop off, and then I'm gonna go get some dinner. Yeah, good suggestion, Cindy, on the lining for future. And then she says, I'm starting to like binding. I always used to be scared of binding. I found a method that works really well for me that I really like. If you are interested in any of those, I use that same binding method, and I show it in detail In my filmed tutorials that are not live videos, specifically the Cool Cube, you can scroll right to the end of that, go to the end of the Cool Cube tutorial and watch me do binding start to finish on that bag, which is a bit of a different style of, it's the same method of binding, I should say, but it's a different style of liner. So that is a good one if you're starting to get into binding. And then also on the Mav Pack Hackathon, as well as the other Mav Pack videos I've done, but those are live videos, so they're a little harder to, scroll. But basically binding is the last step. So if you're interested in binding and you want to check that out, or you want to nuance your technique a little bit so that you can get to the point of liking binding and not being scared of it, then that would be my suggestion, because I was always avoidant of it. I was always avoiding binding until I kind of figured out, like, hey, this method is good and it works every time, and I don't really have any mistakes and it looks really good. Because that was the thing. Years ago when I tried binding, I was doing a totally different method that was, it was horrible. And it was really just the technique, and I could not stand how uneven and awful the binding looked. I don't care that it's on the inside, it looked bad, and I was missing the binding. Like, as you come around a curve, there'd be like parts of it popping off. It looked horrible. So with this newest way that I am doing it, it looks good. You don't have multiple lines of stitching everywhere. There's one line of stitching, and you kind of are just slow and take your time, use your tools, and it turns out really well. So and it consistently turns out well. That was the thing. I like consistency and predictability. So that's what irritates me the most about this liner. I've learned and I know this lesson, and yet I second guessed myself and I didn't do it. And now I have a baggy liner, so it's like, that's your own fault. So anyway, someday I will learn to stop second guessing myself, but in the meantime, well, that was a really fun little pattern, and I would definitely like to make some more of these for sure. It's the Dill handmade As You Wish bag. It's a little crossbody style bag. It's just missing its little strap here. And otherwise, it's been super awesome to hang out with you guys, and thanks for joining me. I hope it was entertaining, and I will get back to you guys with a kitchen update probably in about a week, I would say. So in a week, we'll have some coffee together, and we'll chat in the morning. Maybe we'll do a little, if I have something to open, a little mail opening, a little kitchen update kind of thing. And yeah, I will see you then. So have a good night. Bye.